Hello, Cougar Nation, and welcome to Cougar Field here on for some Monday afternoon baseball. Concordia, Chicago, taking on the visiting North Park Vikings in the final non-conference game of the season for both of these teams. The Cougars coming off of their conference opening doubleheader this past Saturday against MSOE, dropping both of those games, the first 4-3 in a ninth inning heartbreaker, and the second 9-4. North Park, they're coming off of a big win over Dominican University. The Vikings taking them down 15-8. 4 home runs in 4 innings for the Vikings in that matchup. And North Park looking to continue the momentum today against the Cougars before they get going in their conference season. And this is the North Park team. They're 4-11 on the season through non-conference, but this is a team that was predicted to dominate the CCIW. So far, the non-conference hasn't gone how they've wanted to, but conference game could be a different story. So this is a team very highly touted coming into the year. Non-conference hasn't gone how they wanted. And I'm here with Adam Gray today. Adam, how do you like the Cougars' chances of getting North Park? The second time they faced off against them this season, do you think North Park's changed since both these teams took each other on back in February?
Well, hey, I appreciate you welcoming me in. And, yeah, something's going to need to change a little bit here today. They're really relying on 4 guys going into this one. Mainly, you're going to want to look at Kawakami. He is up there with batting average, along with, most importantly, Ren Matsuzaki, leading at a .392. That's pretty high up there for Division III. So as long as they get production out of those 4 guys, but inversely, we're going to take a look at this Cougar pitching staff to see if they can keep them tame going into this one.
Absolutely. Leading off for the Vikings is Joe Perona, one of those top 4 hitters for the squad, and Jackson Brigham on the mound for the Cougars as Brigham delivers that first pitch, catches the outside corner for strike 1. Brigham, 4 appearances, 6 innings pitched on the season. His last appearance back on March 15th against North Central. 2 innings pitched, no runs allowed, as Perona lays down a bunt down the first baseline. And that'll be fielded by Kasich, but it just got foul before he picked it up, so that's a foul ball for strike 2. Perona catches a break. Kasich deciding to pick it up just a second too late. So Perona will step back into the box with an 0-2 count.
And that's what the Cougars are going to want to focus on today. Like I mentioned, pitching staff is going to be important. They may be pitching by committee, but the fielders also have to do their jobs and support that pitching staff.
Brigham delivers, and that's low and outside, ball 1. And that defense back on Saturday did struggle for Concordia, Chicago, so that's definitely something that the Cougars going to look to focus on as they get in their last non-conference game, a little extra tune-up before you go into the real meat of the conference season, as Perona fouls that ball high towards the visiting dugout, and that'll just get over the tarp for a foul ball. Still a 1-2 count on Perona. Perona on the season, .315 average. Gets on base quite a bit, .413 on base percentage. Only 8 strikeouts on the season. One of the tougher guys on this North Park lineup to strike out. Brigham delivers. Strike 3! And that's strikeout number 9 on the season for Joe Perona. Brigham gets him swinging to start off his day. And that's out number 1 for North Park.
Good breaking ball to the outside, just barely able to get it past that bat and into the catcher's mitt. Good pitch.
That brings up Rylan Kawakami. Kawakami hitting .361 on the season. And we'll take that first pitch low and inside for ball 1. A 1-0 count for Kawakami. Brigham kicks, delivers, and that's a dribbler up the middle of the field, fielded by Zagerman. Throw over to first. Just in time. They get Kawakami at first. That's out number 2. Brigham making quick work of the North Park top 3 in inning number 1.
So far, so good for the Cougars. As I mentioned, fielders need to support that pitching staff. Active feet, good accurate throw, and able to get the runner out on first there.
So now up to the plate for North Park, Alex DeVito, the center fielder. Brigham delivers. DeVito watches that one go low for ball 1. DeVito, one of those top 4 batters, 373 on the season, and he gets on base, 477 on base percentage, better than anyone else on this North Park lineup. Hits for power too, slugging 608. He is having himself a year so far, 3 home runs.
And, I mean, that goes along with 19 hits as well. I mean, as I mentioned, Ren, Alex, Riley, Kawakami, all those guys, they came to play. But if the Cougars are able to tame them a little bit, they'll have a good shot.
1-2 count on DeVito. Brigham sends the pitch his way, and that's high for ball 2.
A close one there. Close one.
Jackson Brigham trying to get through a 1-2-3 inning on North Park's top of the order. Pitch on the way. DeVito checks his swing, and that's going to find him in a full count now. You get DeVito on base. He is a threat on the bags. 10 steals on 11 attempts. As here's the 3-2 pitch, and DeVito fouls that off all the way to the football field. Stay alive. Three-two on its way. High for ball 4. DeVito heads over to first base, and that's the first base runner of the day for North Park.
And, Jonathan, you mentioned it, on-base percentage at .477. That leads the team, so pretty used to seeing that.
That's his 10th walk drawn on the season. Also leads this team in taking hit pitches hit by with 3 of those. Gets on base. He does a lot when he's on base. So the Cougars will be watching for DeVito to try and swipe second as Ren Matsuzaki steps it to the plate. Brigham delivers. That's high outside, ball 1. Now Matsuzaki, he is the premier plate threat for North Park. .392 batting average, slugging .647, 4 doubles, 3 home runs, 14 runs driven in, as he takes a big swing and a miss to make it a 1-1 count.
Yeah, if we can get out of this inning with not seeing this guy get contact, we'll appreciate that one.
You get through the top 4, no runs, no hits. It's exactly what the Cougars are looking for out of Brigham. As he'll send the 1-1 pitch away, catches the bottom corner, a nice breaking ball to make it a 1-2 count.
That's what I'm thinking. You might want to keep it low to the outside. Don't want to give him any chance on finding that ball.
1-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and Jackson Brigham, 2 strikeouts in inning number 1 to retire the Vikings. Strand a man on first. Score stays 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the first. Cougars coming up, and we'll take the chance between that break to get you prepped up for this Cougar offense. Concordia Chicago with their go-to starting lineup, a couple tweaks. Your top 3 staying the same. Eli Hickman leading off. Tyler Dorsch will start on deck. Michael Kasich starting in the hole. Jake Mahler, designated hitter, moving up to the 4 spot. Mahler had himself a great day on Saturday. 5 hits, 3 singles, and then a pair of doubles in game 2 of the doubleheader, followed up by Brandon Mahler, his brother, and Brandon Mahler usually hits in that 4-hole. Jake and Brandon switching spots in the order today. Brandon Mahler starting at catcher for CUC. Tyler Crater batting 6th. Cam Buckley starting in left field today for the Cougars. That left field spot, another one of those spots you'll see some movement on this Cougars team throughout the season. They plug and play a couple of different guys there. And then Sean Boswell starting at 2nd, batting 8th. Xavier Zagerman starting at shortstop, batting at 9th. Both of them dropping down the order a spot respectively from where they were on Saturday. And on the mound for North Park, it's Ethan Condit. And Condit also hasn't had the season he would want to have for this North Park team so far. Another one of those bullpen pitchers. Both of these teams looking to likely have bullpen days today. And Condit on the season, he has 6 appearances, got just around 8 innings pitched for Condit, and ERA sitting around 8.31. But a lot of that's from earlier on in the season. His last 2 appearances, inning pitched against Lawrence, 2/3 pitched against Dominican his last time out. No runs allowed for Condit. So he's gotten better as the season's gone on, same as Jackson Brigham. So North Park looking to get a couple solid innings out of Condit before they start going to that bullpen. I mean, you already look over to North Park. You already got an arm warming up in the bullpen, staying hot, if that tells you anything about how head coach Luke Johnson is planning to approach this game today.
And just circling back to talking about the Cougars offense, one player that I am going to highlight that's kind of lower down there, he's the last man batting here, but Xavier Zagerman, he's leading the team, surprisingly, with 15 RBIs. So even though he's batting last, we still got solid production from top 4 hitters all the way down to the last one. So take a look at here. Cougars going on offense. Let's see what they got.
This is a Cougars team that prides itself on its offense, and Eli Hickman will lead it off for the Cougars today. Cougars in the maroon and gold jerseys with the white pinstripes, as Condit delivers, and that's high for ball 1. One-0 count on Hickman. Pitch on its way, and that's outside for ball 1. Ball 2 on Hickman. Hickman, last time out against MSOE on Saturday, pair of hits, one of them a double all the way to the center field wall. As he takes that pitch on the inside corner for strike 1. Just catches the edge. So Condit gets his first strike of the day. 2-1 count now on the leadoff man. Pitch on its way. Hickman fouls that back to make it a 1-2, 2-2 count.
And if Hickman gets on base here, he is known for stealing bases. He's 11 of 12 on the year, so that leads the Cougars squad here. So if he can get on base, just got to keep an eye on him if you're the Vikings.
Hickman did struggle to get on base consistently Saturday, got on base once in each game. Not the rate the Cougars usually want him to get on base. He's looking to do a bit more today, but he won't get on base in his first at-bat. A strikeout for Ethan Condit to open up the day. Hickman goes down swinging. And so with 1 out, that brings up Tyler Dorsch to the plate. And Dorsch, 4-hit day on Saturday. Put a lot of balls in play, ground outs, fly outs, and then those 4 hits. All of them singles. Dorsch, usually a power hitter for this Cougars squad, had himself a great season in 2024, yet to really wake up to where the Cougars expect him to be in 2025.
Like the Chicago weather, you never know. It's up and down, but he's definitely, looks like from last game, he's starting to pick up the heat a little bit. So looking to, like you said, pick up to where he left off last year.
1-0 count on Dorsch. Condit delivers, and Dorsch fouls that off over the bleachers for strike 1.
He's getting good contact on the ball, looking confident in the box.
That's exactly what you want for a player who isn't really hitting for the power you want. If they're making the contact, it's only a matter of time before they start to barrel those balls up more. 1-1 count on Dorsch. Condit kicks, delivers. Dorsch watches that low outside for ball 2. And you go back to that MSOE series on Saturday, Dorsch did barrel up a few balls. He had a couple at-bats where there was one at-bat. He had 2 deep, strong fly balls to left field, both of them landing just foul. So he's starting to get to barreling it up. Wasn't able to straighten it out on Saturday, but like you said, Adam, it's coming along. It's heating up as the season goes on. 3-1 count on Dorsch. And here's the 3-1 pitch. High for ball 4. Cougars get their first base runner of the day. Dorsch draws a 5-pitch walk. And so with a man on first and 1 out, Mike Kasich comes up to the plate for CUC. And Kasich, good day on Saturday as well. 5 singles for the first baseman. Every single time he came to the plate on Saturday, he put the ball in play. Sometimes it ended in an out, sometimes a sac fly. Whatever it was, he was making contact again. That's kind of the name of the game with these Cougars, top of the order. Even if they're not getting hits, they're making contact, they're putting the ball in play, there's chances for stuff to happen. As this at-bat starts with a pickoff attempt, it's unsuccessful.
357 on the year for a batting average. So, yeah, I mean, Michael is definitely looking to get on base here. As we see another pickoff.
Back-to-back pickoff attempts on Dorsch. Kasich standing in the bat at the plate, yet to take a pitch. Tyler Dorsch goes right back to that same lead he's had for the last 2 attempts. Now Condit will deliver. Kasich swings, bites on the breaking ball for strike 1.
It's a good breaking pitch. Definitely wanted that one.
Kasich starting out aggressive in this at-bat. 0-1 count to start his day. Condit cracked that 10-pitch mark. Another pickoff attempt over to Tyler Dorsch. And Dorsch on the season, Dorsch is an athlete. He's great on the bases. 6 stolen bases, numbers that don't light up the scoreboard, but it is the second most on this Cougar lineup. Has been caught stealing 4 times, and now he'll go. Kasich swings and misses, but Dorsch is into second safely. The throw hops short and bounces off the bag. So there's a stolen base for Tyler Dorsch. Condit was right to be wary of the lead at first, and the Cougars get a man in scoring position. 0-2 count on Kasich. Runner on second.
Make that 7 for 11 on the year, partner.
Now Condit checks back to second. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss for strike 3. And the pitch still in the dirt. Kasich didn't realize it dropped. They'll get him at first. That was a good play for Matsuzaki to still go for the tag right after dropping it. He didn't know where the ball was. Kasich thought he was tagged, so he stopped. If Kasich had gone for first straight away, he likely makes that. So witty defensive play from the catcher. That's the first out of the day for Kasich. 2 strikeouts already for Condit, both outs coming with batters swinging. So with 2 outs and a runner on second, Jake Mahler up to the plate, and he swings and lifts that left field straight away. Fly ball dropping.
There it is.
Lee's not able to get there. Dorsch scores. Mahler's in at first. And the Cougars strike first. RBI single for Jake Mahler on a high fly ball to left. And Adam, you look where that wind's shifting. It's just shifted a bit more south, and it is a strong windy day in River Forest, and I don't think Lee adjusted for the wind enough.
I mean, that ball had a lot of hang time, and you factor in the sun, too. I mean, you're looking dead at it. Great play, though. Great play to get the RBI.
So the 1-0 lead, runner at first, 2 outs. Brandon Mahler up to the plate with Jake Mahler on first. Mahler takes that first pitch for ball 1. I mean, Jake Mahler stays hot for the Cougars. He has been a hitting machine as Brandon Mahler finds himself in a 1-1 count now.
I think on that last one as well, Jake didn't believe how long the ball was hanging up there. Kind of hung it on first base to see where it was going to land.
Pitch on the way, swing and a miss for Brandon Mahler. Scott out behind that one, makes it a 1-2 count. 1-2 pitch. Mahler fouls that back. He'll stay alive. And Mahler, he's had a great season so far on the whole. He did struggle against MSOE in the one game he played. Went hitless, 0 for 5 at the plate. One-two count on the catcher. Condit kicks, delivers. Fouled off again. Mahler still keeping this at-bat going. Keeping it at a 1-2 count.
And you touched on it. Brandon here, he's obviously up to bat, but the Mahler brothers are going to have to come in key here for the offense for the Cougars. That was one of my keys to victory, is having the Mahler brothers have a productive day in the batter's box and looking good so far.
Pitch on the way. Foul tip in the dirt. So Mahler still stays alive. 3 straight foul balls, keeping it at a 1-2 count. And so you're making contact again. You're not letting that bat go quickly. Condit cracking 20 pitches in the first inning now. Mahler goes for second, and that's fouled back again. Stays at a 1-2 count, but it's now going to be an 8-pitch at-bat after this next pitch at minimum. So Brandon Mahler, he's still in a in a disadvantaged count, but he's staying alive. The longer you keep that at-bat going, the more chances there are for things to happen.
You can see how aggressive the Cougars are with sending runners to second base, trying to steal those bases, trying to stay aggressive early.
Pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and Condit finally gets Mahler to go on the high fastball. Strike three strikeouts in inning number 1 for Ethan Condit. But the Cougars do score. They drive in a run on a Jake Mahler RBI single to left field. It's 1-0 Concordia Chicago. We'll head to the top of the second in just a minute here on the Cougar Sports Network. Welcome back to the Thunderdome for the top of the second as Nate Sommerfeld fouls off that first pitch. Jackson Brigham still on the mound. Now with a 1-0 lead behind him, Cougars took the lead in the bottom of the first. It's now Nate Sommerfeld at the plate for North Park, and he quickly finds himself in a hole swinging at that breaking ball. 0-2 count now. We were talking about it during the break. Jackson Brigham has looked confident on the mound so far.
He has. He looks in command. He's finding the zone well, minus that pitch there in the dirt. But besides that, he has looked very confident. And, I mean, I think the main focus for the Cougars is getting a few solid innings out of him, and same thing. Go to the bullpen, kind of rest him up, but looking very confident so far, yes.
1-2 pitch, high, ball 2. Sommerfeld on the season, .224 batting average. And hasn't been a horrible season at the plate, but this is about that part of the lineup. You get through that top 4, those batting averages start to drop, those slugging percentages start to drop, and this is where North Park's really struggled more on the season, is the bottom of the order.
And Bringham's going to need to settle down a little bit because this is where he's going to want to really take advantage of this team if he wants to pull ahead and have more quality innings. As you see the walk right there, it just needs to settle in. This is the bottom of the lineup, so you're going to want to see him attack, still be aggressive, but still finding the zone.
You know, it's get a little too fancy after you get in that 0-2 count. You try and dance around the zone after attacking on the first 2 pitches, and Sommerfeld just stands in, takes the walk. So a runner on first, no outs for North Park. Enzo Vertucci at the plate now, and he drives that foul to left field for strike 1. Just got out ahead of it, but he had the contact right where he wanted it.
That wind definitely carried that ball a little bit. So if he gets a good one infield, yeah, we're going to be scared about that a little bit. But that wind helped out there, Windy City.
Brigham steps off the mound. Brigham gets the call. Sommerfeld dancing over at first. That pitch is driven into center field for a base hit. Hickman Fields gets that in. Sommerfeld moves to second. First hit of the day for North Park, and now it's runners on first and second. No outs for Rylan Lee. And this isn't the part of the order that you expected to start producing for North Park, but got a man in scoring position now, no outs. Rylan Lee up to the plate. I mean, Rylan Lee, he's had 5 plate appearances on the year, only 2 of them recorded at-bats, 3 walks, yet to get a hit. As he shows bunt there, that pitch high for ball 1.
Brigham definitely got complacent a little bit on this bottom part of the lineup, and it's showing a little bit. He's pressing, not really finding the zone, and needs to lock in a little bit.
Now Brigham, pickoff attempt back to second. Sommerfeld able to get back in time, read the pickoff attempt just in time. Stays a 1-0 count on Lee.
See the first baseman pulled in a little bit, preparing for that bunt.
Pitch on the way, and it's another step off from Brigham to guard off second base. Staying at a 1-0 count. Healthy lead over at first for Vertucci as Lee just takes a short bend, fouls that off. What didn't look like he wanted to swing, but just instinctively fended it off. Makes it a 1-1 count. One ball, 1 strike, no outs, 2 men on for North Park. Brigham delivers, and that's a bunt laid down towards the third baseline. That is exactly where you want to lay that down. A perfect bunt for Rylan Lee. Hard down the third baseline, not too hard. I mean, good defense from Tyler Crater to make it close at first base, but that is one of the toughest plays in the infield to make.
And, I mean, you mentioned it, only a couple of at-bats, but his on-base percentage is sitting at 60% with 3 of those. I mean, hey, able to get on base with the bunted ball and work to perfection there.
Bases loaded, no outs for Reese Arakaki. Brigham delivers inside, ball 1. You can see through the fence, little action in the Cougars bullpen. 1-0 count and Arakaki. Arakaki on the season hitting .189 with 3 RBIs. And he'll foul that back to the backstop. This is a great opportunity to add on to those RBIs. This is the best situation you can be in as a hitter. No outs, bases loaded, prime opportunity for run scoring. 1-1 count in Arakaki. And he'll chop that towards first. Cassick can't field it cleanly. Everyone is safe. And it's a 1-1 ball game. North Park continues producing in the top of the second. They still are primed up to put more on the board.
I'll be inclined to go out there and talk to my pitcher a little bit, settle him down. He's looking a little rattled out there. I mean, as you mentioned, no outs up to this point, bases loaded, just gave up a run. I would settle him down if it doesn't go well after this batter at least.
Riley Jepson into the game now. First pitch high for ball 1. One-0 count. That's low for ball 2. After starting off the inning strong, Brigham, he's lost that command a bit. It's starting to slip, and you see Brandon Mahler calls for the infield.
Yep. Got to settle him down. I mean, he's looking erratic. He's looking a little rattled. Got to let him know, hey, we're there. We just got to get out this inning and hope with minimal damage as possible.
And now they look over to the dugout, and Colin Connor comes out to the mound. Mike Cassick gestures toward the bullpen. It's a full-on pitcher's mound meeting. Coach's visit from Connor. There you see it. Jackson Brigham's day is done.
I imagine you got to do that just to save his confidence. You know, I mean, it was looking he was rattled. He was looking a little despondent a little bit there on the mound. So, pitching change, getting somebody with a fresh arm, fresh set of eyes on this. So.
Yeah, and you always loved, let the pitcher work themselves out of the jam they got themselves in. But Jackson Brigham, he's not a long inning arm. That's not the pitcher you really let work with that. You really make that choice with. You got to bring in that fresh arm because it's the second inning. You don't want to get in a big hole this early on in the game.
And, I mean, it all goes back to saving the confidence at the end of the day. I mean, not a whole lot of pitching this year up to this point. So save his confidence. This is a non-conference game. So, obviously, you're still looking to win the game at the end of the day, but just good to get a new pitcher in there and just preserve that confidence. And minimal damage as possible is the biggest key.
And on the mound now for the Cougars is number 1, Blake Hickey. Hickey on the season has 1 appearance, went 1 inning, and gave up 4 earned runs. So Concordia Chicago trying to get some of those underused arms, a little more experience in their last non-con game of the season. I mean, that's something Coach Connor has talked about a lot through this non-conference slate, is the hope that they've already used that bullpen depth, but he believes there's even more to come from that bullpen, especially when you get into the conference play. So Blake Hickey, one of those pieces that he'll be hoping can turn it on, find some stuff, and become a useful piece as you get into the meat of the season for Concordia.
Even though he has those 4 earned runs, he does have 2 strikeouts, so he's able to get batters out. He's shown that up to this point. And yeah, like you said, want to get some more arms in here. Obviously, we want to win every game you possibly can, but it's good to get that experience and preserve the confidence and also give some to those who haven't really seen much.
He'll come into the mound with a 2-0 count on Riley Jepson. And Jepson on the season himself is hitting .185. He started 9 games, played in 10, 27 at-bats. I mean, he's been getting on base at a percentage that's higher than you'd expect with that batting average. He has drawn 1 walk. He's gotten hit by a pitch 5 times.
Got a magnet in his shoe.
Which is a ludicrous stat. It's one of those stats that, it's a strength. If a player gets hit by a pitch a lot, it's great for them. It's great for the team. You get a guy on the plate. It's tough to figure out how does that happen. Sometimes it's a player, they stand a bit closer to the plate. I mean, Anthony Rizzo, back when he played for the Cubs, the Yankees, he's a player notorious for that. Just crowd the plate as much as you can. But sometimes this feels like there's more to it than that. It's not always just crowding the plate. It's just luck. Sometimes it's a stat that's really hard to just say, oh, that player's worked on getting hit by a pitch a lot, because you don't really do that. But it's beneficial for the team if you go out there and you get on base by any means necessary.
And, hey, whoever is trying to have that happen to them, hats off to you, because you are way better than me, my friend. These balls are way too hard and traveling way too fast to have that. But, yeah, like you said, it definitely is a skill. It's an effective measure to get on base regardless. So, and also touching a little bit on the Vikings offense, one of my keys to the game was explosive offense early. And this is kind of what you're seeing with the Vikings. I mean, even though they're not known to be a substantial offensive threat throughout the game, they can get hot at certain points, and you don't want to dig that deep hole like you're kind of seeing here. You want to leave here with minimal amount of damage if you're the Cougars, but this is exactly what the Vikings wanted. A quick start, want to pounce on the Cougars, kind of put the pressure on them and keep it on them for the entirety of the game.
I mean, it's exactly where you want to be, too. You have a run. You have the bases loaded. Still no outs. Only on 2 hits, too. You're manufacturing. You're drawing walks. You force the Cougars to commit an error already. I mean, this is how you get it done. You haven't been explosive yet. That's what the top 4 guys are for. Your bottom of the inning, they're getting on base. They're just finding any ways to produce, and it is working out exactly how North Park wants it to here in the top of the second. as the umpire gives the go-ahead. Blake Hickey ready to throw his first pitch of the day. Riley Jepson steps back into the box with a 2-0 count. Hickey sets, kicks, delivers, and he'll pump that in the zone for strike one. That's how you want to start off your day on the mound. Makes it a 2-1 count on Jepson. It's always a little weird. You come into the game in an at-bat that's already in progress. As Hickey fires that away, everyone's going, looking for the suicide squeeze out of Riley Jepson. He fouls it, bunts it foul. So that'll make it a 2-2 count.
You're seeing the strategy by the Vikings early. At least get the ball into play, give your runners a chance to get to base, and then we'll take it from there. And it's worked up to this point.
I mean, you look at this bottom of the order, you've acknowledged, okay, they're not going to hit balls into the outfield. They're not getting extra base hits. Let's just get them on base any way possible.
Get them into play, yep.
2-2 pitch on the way. And that's lifted into right field. Dorsch is there to make the play. Everyone holds, didn't get deep enough out there. And you will absolutely take that if you're the Cougars. Blake Hickey didn't get the strikeout. It got into the outfield, but it's a soft fly ball. Doesn't get deep enough. No one advances, and you got one out.
And that's what's needed by these fielders. Once the ball is being put into play by these Vikings, making the play and making sure that there's no runs being scored and there's no advances on base.
You kind of see that with the outfield. Over in left field, Cam Buckley moving up, which means it makes sense. You look at where that wind's blowing balls to left field, they're not flying deep. It's right field you got to be wary for. As Joe Perona back up to the plate, and he takes that first pitch for a strike.
Great pitch. And you see the difference in pitchers now, one with the confidence, one that has the strike zone locked in a little bit more. And this is a smart change by the coach. Let's see if he's able to pull it out.
A 1 pitch, and that's lifted into center field. Hickman tracking back, makes the play.
Good catch.
That'll score a run. Lee advances to third, but that's out number 2. Hickey doing his job on the mound. I mean, Perona's doing his job at the plate. That's what you expect with a 0 or 1 out situation on offense. Bases loaded. It's all right if you get the out as long as you put something deep into the outfield, because no matter what, that should score a run.
And we're back at the top of the order, so this is where we're really going to need the Cougars to pay attention on defense, active hands, active feet, and making sure that if the ball is put into play, that they're ready and prepared for it.
Kawakami grounded out to short his first time up at the plate. Now Hickey, pickoff attempt over to first. You kind of see with Hickey's mentality right now, it's kind of what you tell your pitcher when they go into the game with the bases loaded. None of those base runners on base are yours. So sure, you don't want to let any of them score, but don't let them get to you, because all you're responsible for is the guys at the plate. Retire them 1, 2, 3. If the runs score, that's okay, because that's not your fault. We just need you to focus on who's at the plate.
Exactly, and especially with this hitter, Kawakami, in the year that he's having up to this point, leading the team in hits, you're definitely going to want to make sure that you're able to take care of the people, like you said, take care of the people in front of you, especially with this hitter.
0-1 count on Kawakami. Pitch on the way, and that breaking ball doesn't bend back into the play. It's ball 1. 1-1 count now for Kawakami. Lee at third, Arakaki at first. Arakaki with a short lead. And Hickey went for the pickoff, though. Saw Arakaki was a step off the mound and just eased up on it for a light toss to Kasich. Still a 1-1 count on Kawakami. Now Arakaki dancing over at first.
Ouch.
That's a first hit batter of the day. Kawakami takes it right to the side. That's going to load the bases again.
That's his first one on the year, so first shiner.
We were talking about a lot earlier with Jepson, but, you get hit, you find a way to get on base. That's a positive at-bat. It doesn't matter how you did it.
Still hurts all the same.
Bases loaded for Alex DeVito. Pitch on the way. That's low inside for ball one. Mahler keeping it in front of him. I got to hope Hickey doesn't get himself rattled. Pitch on the way. Inside again for ball two. So Hickey finds himself behind the count in a spot where you can't surrender a walk.
Just needs to settle down and, like you said, not get rattled. Just stay focused.
2-0 pitch. Inside again. 3-0 count. And this is where you're dangerous, especially with the bases loaded, because DeVito knows Hickey's got to throw strikes here. 3-0 pitch on the way. That one's pumped in for a strike, and they're going to get the man at first. Kawakami gets caught lacking, and the Cougars get out of the jam.
Just a blunder by the Vikings. I mean, my goodness, it was a 3-0 count.
I mean, 3-0 count. You go over to Kawakami. I mean, the coaching staff's partially responsible. You coach your guys on the base paths. You tell them what to do. There's not much of a reason to be taking that big of a lead when you know your guy's not swinging, and there's no real point, and you can't steal the bag either. So it's an unnecessarily large lead. You're not quick to get back to the bag, and it's heads up D from the Cougars. Brandon Mahler, Michael Kasich, they practice that. You keep your eyes up for when that's an option, and you see that massive gap back to first, and you pick up out number 3.
And, I mean, like you said, the biggest highlight is the reaction by the Cougars, just taking advantage of the play and getting out of that hairy inning, now down 2-1, and we minimalized the damage there. And, going on the offensive end, looking to get this tied back up here.
I mean, you go back to Saturday, too, for the Cougars pitching staff, their defense, they struggled. They didn't play great, but the score looked better than it felt even. I mean, you were only giving up 1 or 2 runs an inning, and it felt at times like the Cougars, they're getting beat up out there. They're getting thrashed. And at the end of the day, you only give up 1 or 2 runs an inning. That's a win. That keeps it in touching distance. So it's that bend, don't break ability on defense or offense so that when you do make mistakes, you don't let it get out of hand.
And you have to support that pitching staff. As a fielder, you have to support that pitching staff, especially with changing pitchers halfway through that inning. That was huge by the Cougars to be able to get out of that.
I mean, that's exactly the outing you want from Blake Hickey in that scenario. You give up a sac fly, you hit a batter, you make your team sweat a bit, but only 1 run scores after you come into the game. That gets credit to Jackson Brigham. So Hickey, no runs allowed. He got all 3 outs. Didn't give up a single hit. I mean, that's what you want in that scenario. The pressure of the bases loaded jam doesn't really get to you. So as we head to the bottom of the second, it's Tyler Crater coming up to the plate for the Cougars. Ethan Condit back out on the mound for another inning of work for the Vikings. Crater coming off of a 2-hit series against the MSOE on Saturday. And he'll lift that into left center field. DeVito tracking back at the wall. It's off the wall. DeVito misjudges it. Crater, he's rounding second. He's going for third. DeVito can't field it. They're going to hold Crater at third. And that is a leadoff triple to kick off the bottom of the second for Tyler Crater.
Thank you, Mr. Crater. I almost got it out of here. You got to hit the weight room a little bit. But that was a great hit, great triple to start off the inning.
I mean, you're going to go. That one probably didn't have enough to begin with, but that wind, again, the wind affects the way you feel that in center because you're expecting that to go further left, and you see DeVito, he played it further left, so when it bounced off, he wasn't expecting it to go as far towards center as it did, and that gives Crater the chance to turn it from a double into a triple.
And a little bit of a fumbling back there by the center fielder for the Vikings as well.
Cougars already a man on third, no outs for Cam Buckley. Buckley takes that for a ball, 1-1 count now. And Cam on the season, 16 at-bats, 375 in his 6 games he's appeared in. Gets on base, 444 percentage. So, I mean, that's the work you kind of want to see out of a low appearance guy. You get out there and you still make an impact. 2-1 count for Buckley. And he'll lift that to right field. And that's a glimpse at what that wind will do today. Got out ahead of it. That's easily foul, but that thing carried.
Got out in a hurry.
And Buckley kicking himself a bit. You can straighten that out a bit. 2-2 pitch on the way, and he'll foul that back, stays alive.
You could tell he wants it, too. You can tell his confidence was boosted a little bit from that.
It's always something you barrel up a foul ball. You can tell yourself, okay, I can hit it. Just got to get that in the field of play now. 2-2 count. And that's a grounder towards second. Kawakami can't get there. Crater jogs into home plate. And Buckley, he sees a misplayed ball in the outfield. Perota misplays it. Goes under the glove. And it's an RBI single for Cam Buckley. Advances to second on a fielding error. And the Cougars, they tie it back up at 2 right away in the second inning.
Tell you what, we might have greased that ball up out there. I don't know. They're not playing the ball too well out there for the Vikings.
Yashawn Boswell up to the plate now with a man on second, no outs. And he shows punt. And didn't pull back in time. So it's tagged as a strike. Didn't pull back in time because he's distracted by the ball up at his head. So Boswell avoids the damage, but it does go down as a strike, so he finds himself in an 0-1 count. Condit checks a second, pitch on the way. Boswell showing bunt again. That's laid down now third baseline. Jepson charging, throws the first. Not in time. Jepson slips as he turns to third. And Yashawn Boswell sees what the Vikings done and says, I can do it too. A perfect bunt down the third baseline for a base hit, advances the runner to third.
You said it perfectly. I mean, both teams, you could see the strategy, being aggressive, trying to get those players on base and trying to make sure we giving them a chance to be able to get some extra bases here.
Now Xavier Zagerman up to the plate with runners on first and third, no outs. Condit delivers. Zagerman lifts that to right, and that is caught by Boswell. Buckley holds at third, first out of the inning. There is an amendment. That is not Condit on the mound for the Vikings. That is Kevin Ieski on the mound for the Vikings. We apologize for that error.
Kevin Ieski with 12.27 ERA on the year up to this point. Has only 4 appearances, so he does have 14 innings pitched with 10 strikeouts, so he does have a little bit of experience coming into this, but we'll see how he's able to play this out.
So the Vikings already tapped in their reserves today. That bunt laid down the first baseline, and that stays fair! Eli Hickman! This is a bunt-off competition. Eli Hickman decides to show his skills off. Can't get that much closer to the foul line. I mean, that was never going foul either. I keep saying you can't get a bunt much better than that today.
It's a bunting clinic out here in Cougar Stadium, I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's perfect. It lays on the ground. It doesn't bounce. It's not hard to first base. It's not short to the catcher. It's right on the foul line, so the defense is going to hesitate to see if it goes. Can't make it better than that. And the Cougars showing bunt again. Dorsch laying it down. Now he'll swing on that. That's lifted to left center.
That's well hit.
DeVito watches it go! Tyler Dorsch, a bomb to left center. And the Cougars jump out way in front. A 3-run dinger for number 23.
And there it is. We talked about Tyler Dorsch before the game started, seeing him heat up as the year went on. Hits a long bomb out of here. Didn't even have a chance.
And that just carried. It got up there, and it kept going and going. DeVito tracking. You see him realize it gets close to the wall. It's not coming down. Well over the high wall in left center, and the Cougars up 6-2.
I mean, that felt great coming off of the bat from up here. I mean, it got out of here in a hurry because of that wind. Like you said, it was blowing in the right direction this time and got it out of here.
And we got a pitching change from North Park after the Cougars drive in 5 with still just 1 out. In the second. That's how you respond to a tough inning. You know, the Cougars, again, you see that bend, don't break. That inning, bases loaded, no outs. You only give up 1 run. That could have been a lot worse. So you're still only down 1. You get a big inning of your own, except this time you are driving in all those runners on base. You put yourself up by 4, and this is exactly where you want to be.
And, I mean, the Cougars know what they have in their offense. They know they can produce offense at a high clip when they're able to and when they're capable of doing it. The question always was the defensive side. And like you said, they were able to get out of that last hairy inning and get into their offense and show what they have consistency-wise.
So coming into the game on the mound for North Park, it's number 6, Jaden Bader, a senior out of Scottsdale, Arizona.
Pitching for the Vikings, number 6, Jaden Bader.
Bader on the season, 2 appearances, 2 2/3 innings pitched, a 6.75 ERA. So you see North Park trying to get their guys a bit of experience on their end as well. And what is a non-con tune-up game for both of these squads.
The other key that I had specifically for the North Park Vikings and what their keys for victory was focusing mainly on the pitching staff and having a strong middle inning game. I feel like that's going to be where a lot of the comeback is going to have to start for the Vikings if they are going to look to get back into this. Are those middle innings before this game even kicked off? That was what I thought one of the keys was going to be, continuing to have and rely on that pitching staff, whether it's the bullpen or getting hopefully 3 innings out of their starting pitcher, which obviously didn't happen here today. But just having consistency through those middle innings and carrying them to the end, that's their only shot at this point, getting back into this ball game here.
Coming up to the plate for the Cougars, and what's a reset? No men on now. It's Michael Kasich, who's 0 for 1 on the day, struck out swinging his first time at the plate. And he's someone who you would like to see, have a really good day at the plate as well. He had a good day this past weekend, looking to have an even better day today. I mean, like we said, it's a tune-up game, and Tyler Dorsch already using it as such. Drew a walk his first bat, launches 1 out. I mean, we mentioned it. He's that one key part of this Cougars top of the order who we're yet to really see play like a star player, which is where he was last year. And, you see a little bit of that in your last non-conference game, and you think, there we go. Now that's coming back. Now we're going to have that once we get into the heart of the season.
And you could tell, and really the biggest thing in baseball is confidence. And you can tell as soon as that ball left that bat, his confidence erupted as he was going from first to second base, realizing that ball was finally out of there. And you even saw him on the defensive end in the first inning. He was able to make that catch out in right field. So, like I said, confidence is the biggest key in baseball, and it seems like Tyler's starting to get that back a little bit. Michael Kasich, he's second on the team with batting average. Hopefully he's able to continue his good hitting streak as well.
Bader ready for his first pitch of the day. Kicks and delivers inside ball 1. It's a 1-0 count on Kasich. Make it a 2-0, high and outside for ball 2. 2-0 pitch. High and outside for ball 3. Not how you want your day to start on the mound.
Especially if Jake Mahler is coming up after this. You definitely don't want to see Michael Kasich get on base here. Just saying.
3-0 pitch. And Bader just dials in, pumps that one down the heart of the plate, gets that 3-0 strike. 3-1 count. Pitch on the way, and that's high. Up around Kasik's head, so he'll take the 5-pitch walk. Kasik takes a stroll to the first base. So he got that man on, still with just one out for Jake Mahler. And Mahler, 1 for 1 on the day. He has been hot, very hot through the last few games for the Cougars, and he's a slugger too. 600 slugging percentage, leads this squad. He'll take that first pitch down low inside for ball 1. I mean, Jaden Bader struggling with command. Still not warmed up yet. Out through his 6 pitches he's thrown, 5 of them have gone for balls.
I was going to say, I don't think he's found the zone quite yet. Oh.
And Mahler drives that into left field. Got out ahead of it too much. And that was a combination of factors. That one would have been even more foul without the wind today. Died off a little bit. You see that effect there. That was barreled up. Looked harder off the bat than Tyler Dorsch's home run, except it's straight into the wind. This is a strong wind effect. In River Forest today, Mahler, high chopper grounder down the middle. It's misplayed by the infield. Kasik rounds second, goes to third. Mahler stops at first. It's another base hit for Jake Mahler and the Cougars, all just keeping the momentum going in the bottom of the second.
Communication is key in relationships, and especially with teammates. Got to communicate who's going to go after that ball there.
I mean, that's a tough grounder in the first place. Perfectly splits the field. But the Vikings, they were playing middle. They were playing central. And, you know, you communicate who's going for that ball. You sprint there. You charge it. You at least field it. You at least get the force at second, probably, because it's right there and prevent Kasik from getting all the way to third. But now, runners at the corners for Brandon Mahler, who comes out swinging, fouls that back for strike 1. And see a little bit of that in the Cougars' eyes. Jake Mahler, hard foul ball. Brandon Mahler comes out swinging. They're greedy now. They've seen that their teammates are hitting the ball well. North Park's pitching is struggling. It's a great day to be a hitter. Trying to take advantage of that. Mahler trying to steal second. And he's out. Thought he beat the tag. But it was a very late jump. I don't know if Mahler thought that was in the dirt. But plenty of time for the Vikings to get that throw off. Wasn't even a great throw down to second. And so the Cougars, they do score a run. It's a double steal, which I didn't catch this. Everyone so focused on second. So is North Park.
Just snuck in there. Got us a seventh run there.
5-run lead now for the Cougars with 2 outs. And you actually take that every time. That's probably why you go so late. Because then you draw all the attention to second. You force maybe a bit of a slower play. It gives plenty of time for Mike Kasik to get home.
And you could tell the Vikings pitcher right now, he's a little rattled. I don't know if a mound visit is needed and change him out again, but not finding the zone too much.
3 straight balls on Brandon Mahler. Make it 4. Another walk for Jaden Bader, and Bader's yet to retire a batter, giving up 3 straight base runners, 2 of those hits, the only out coming courtesy of a steal. There was a double steal that produced a run for Concordia.
Just looks uncomfortable, hasn't really settled into this inning, and hopefully he's able to get it back with a couple of strikes here.
Tyler Crater up to the plate now. And it's Tyler Crater who led off this inning for the Cougars with a deep triple to left center. Scored the first run. The Cougars, they've officially batted around as Crater takes that first pitch for another ball. Now Crater lifts it to left field. That's going!
Ouch.
And that is gone! Tyler Crater drives it beyond the wall. And it is 9-2, Concordia, Chicago.
They don't call it the Windy City for nothing, baby. Yes, sir.
And, I mean, you look where that American flag's blowing in right field. That was against where the wind is blowing now, too. Tyler Crater actually just barreled it up. The Cougars dugout is loving it. And when you talk about explosive offense, we are seeing that in inning number 2 from Concordia, Chicago.
Cars over there on division need to watch out today.
Bader just trying to get out of the inning, and he will. Buckley grounds that to first, so Bader, he ends it, but not before the Cougars pile on an 8-run inning. Concordia Chicago leads 9-2 over the Vikings, and North Park, they'll look for a way to get their offense back into this game in the top of the third when we come back in just a minute on the Cougar Sports Network. And welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Concordia Chicago up big in the top of the third after an 8-run bottom of the second, with 2 homers coming off the bats of Tyler Dorsch and Tyler Crater. And it's a great start to the at-bat for Alex DeVito. Already got himself in a 2-0 count. And he'll foul that off to make it 2-1. And DeVito walked his first at-bat, came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, got himself in a 3-0 count in the top of the second. And then Kawakami got picked off at first, and you just lose that momentum you thought you were building with North Park. And then the Cougars flipped the script, 8-run inning. It was a tough spot to be in for North Park. And you really need one of your best hitters to help turn it around right here. And that's a start. Second walk drawn on the day for Alex DeVito. So it's a man on first, no outs for North Park. And now you got your best hitter, Ren Matsuzaki, coming up to the plate.
And that's going to be a focal point for this inning specifically for the Cougars is Hickey and his performance. If he's able to get out of this inning, no runs, perfect. Minimal damage, 1 run at best, especially with your best opponent up at the plate here.
This is also a great position to be from that non-con perspective, too, because now you do have you have a very big lead. You can give a longer leash to those arms that don't see the field much. Let them work through some more stuff. Let them get more experience out on the mound. Blake Hickey's one of those guys we talked about. This is a guy Colin Connor would like to see turn it on, get more innings, and as that conference season gets long, this is a great opportunity for him to get experience going long. 1-1 count on Matsuzaki. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Matsuzaki. DeVito gets back to the bag. And, that's guarantee you. Head Coach Johnson in the dugout. The North Park offense heard it. It's that reminder every time you get caught lacking on the base paths. Come on, guys. Dial it on the base paths. Those are avoidable mistakes, controllable mistakes that we can avoid ourselves. We have the power to do that. And you see that a bit right there. DeVito not wasting any time, diving back to the bag before the throw is even made.
And you're right. The whole turnover to the last inning for the Cougars in their big inning started with the fielding mistake by the Vikings. They didn't run the bases properly, leading off a little too far, got picked off, and allowed the Cougars to go into their offense and put up 8 runs on them. So
got an opportunity to keep it going still. Still man on first, no outs. Matsuzaki, full count. He's got Hickey in a tough spot now. Hickey pitches. Swing and a miss for Matsuzaki. Ooh. And throw down to second. Bounces, no good. Stolen base for DeVito. You'll take that result any day. You retire the best hitter in the opposing lineup swinging, and that's the first out of the inning.
It's a nasty pitch by Hickey. Got him swinging, and he definitely thought he got ball on that one. But great pitch down low. Not allowing him to get comfortable with that swing, and totally missed on that.
Nate Sommerfeld up to the plate now. Sommerfeld started off that long top of the second that we saw from the Vikings. Man, that's a tough top of the second. You go through what was 7 of the 9 batters in your order. You get the 8th up to the plate. You're close to batting around, and you only put up 2 runs. It's a lot of time on base for not the kind of results you would expect from going through that much of your order. 0-1 count on Sommerfeld. Hickey turns around to second. No one's really covering the bag. DeVito gets back in plenty of time, so Boswell just catches a toss, tosses it back to Hickey. Still an 0-1 count on Sommerfeld. Hickey checks back, tosses in the dirt for ball 1. I really like what we saw at Hickey on that at-bat with Matsuzaki. It's a long at-bat. You work through it. You don't start getting sloppy. You surrender a first at-bat walk. You still don't let that get you. You strike out the most menacing hitter in the lineup. Hickey has looked confident, especially since he came into such a tough situation today.
Confident, comfortable, and he's finding the zone. He's missed a couple of times here, but he has command of the zone. You can tell that he's comfortable up there. And, against your best hitter, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see them shut those guys down. Like we said, those 4 guys of focus, want to make them have a bad day at the end of the day.
2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss from Sommerfeld. Throw down to second. Almost got him. Cougars defense making North Park sweat. DeVito just sitting on the knee at the bag for a minute. That one's not even DeVito not getting back in time. He just took a very long lead on the pitch, and the Cougars were ready for it.
Base running is definitely not being taken care of by the Vikings. As you mentioned, another long leadoff could have resulted in catastrophe once more.
Boswell covering second. Now Hickey delivers. Swing and a miss. Another K for Blake Hickey.
Hickey is throwing some disgusting pitches right now.
Just run that one up the inside. Such a tough pitch to hit.
Number 19, Enzo Vertucci.
Vertucci now up to the plate. Vertucci had a soft liner into center field for a single his last time up at the plate. Runner on second, 2 outs for Vertucci. Hickey delivers outside in the zone, catches the outside edge. So the tough angle messing with me up in the press box right there, but Hickey, you said he's finding the zone. He really is. He has command of exactly where the edges of that plate are. 0-1 pitch on the way. And that's lifted into center field. Hickman tracking at the wall and gone. Enzo Vertucci launches a shot of his own, and North Park puts 2 on the board.
Once again, that wind carried that ball. I mean, it looked like it dipped a little bit, but yeah, it carried over 390 center field. That's quite a distance there.
I mean, that got out in a hurry, and I mean, that ball, that's over 400 out past the center field wall. That's the first extra base hit of the season for Enzo Vertucci. He's not a slugger, but he shows off the power there. First home run of the season, first extra base hit of the season. And North Park has 4 now. They got that gap down to 5.
And Hickey can't let that rattle him. He's been so good up to this point through this inning specifically with commanding the strike zone. Can't let that rattle him.
And you still got a 5-run lead, 1-1 count on Lee. One pitch on the way. That's a grounder to second. Boswell fields it cleanly, gets it to first for out number 3. Only 2 runs given up on an Enzo Vertucci home run. The Cougars, you will take that inning gladly. Now we'll head to the bottom of the 3rd. Concordia Chicago with a 5-run lead, looking to pile it on when we come back on the Cougar Sports Network. And welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Concordia Chicago still holding a 9-4 lead. They exploded their last time on offense, an 8-run lead. 5 of those coming off of a pair of home runs from the Tyler duo, Crater and Dorsch for Concordia Chicago. And now Yashawn Boswell leading off for CUC. Comes out swinging, fouls that back for strike 1. New face on the mound for North Park, Tommy Eck. Eck, 1 appearance on the season, 1 1/3 innings pitched, and 1 strikeout. And now Boswell showing bunt, misses, goes high, just started jumping out to get that run going a little early. And that's strike 2.
Cougars are definitely looking to keep that offensive pressure on the Vikings. Can't get content with the lead. Even though they're up 5 runs, they cannot get content. Got to keep on the pressure.
You absolutely have to with the weather today. You saw the impact that can have on offense. Enzo Bertucci, not a power guy, not a great hitter, easily launched one out to center field. And now Boswell drives it to left field, and that is gone!
Wow.
Another one! Yashawn Boswell sends one to Division Street, and the Cougars crack double digits. It's 10-4.
That wind is something else. I'll tell you that much. We are watching a home run derby.
And, I mean, that's left field. That's where the wind is going probably the least in this entire stadium, and it's still carrying that much out there. You don't get weather like this that often for a baseball game. And tell you what, the Cougars are capitalizing. 10-0 lead for Concord. 10-4 lead for Concordia Chicago. Zagerman at the plate now, and he wants a piece of his own. Big swing and a miss to start off that at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, they've gone through a lot of pitchers up to this point. They've been rotating in and out. I'm interested to see what their game plan is going forward. We're only at the bottom of the third. There's a whole heck of a lot of baseball left to play, so I'm interested to see where they go with this pitching staff going forward.
Zagerman really wants it. 2 swings and 2 misses in a row. Finds himself in an 0-2 hole straight away. 0-2 pitch. Eck delivers well outside for ball 1. Maybe hoping to get a bit of a Javi Baez cut at that one. Get the 3-pitch strikeout. 1-2 pitch on the way. And Zagerman sends that to center field. DeVito running, leaping, makes the play. Looked like a bit of a snow cone catch out there. That's the first out of the inning.
Great catch. Not an easy play to make out there in center field. But, yeah, definitely a great catch. And I'll say it again, that wind carried that ball out there, so it made it a little tricky.
I mean, we've seen how the wind has screwed with these North Park outfielders all day. Everything is going further. It's going more east than you'd expect. It's tough to judge. That's a fly ball. Usually you don't got to move much for that one. DeVito, I mean, he was on it right away. He was on a horse just sprinting towards the wall to get there in time. Hickman takes that first pitch for a ball. 1-0 count on Hickman. And Eli Hickman had one of the best bunts you could see his last time at the plate. Takes that one for a strike. I mean, Cougars, it might just be showing bunt now just to screw with the Vikings. See Hickman doing it again there. Boswell, in that bat, he's coming off where he hit a home run. Shows bunt his first 2 times. You get that Vikings defense, Vikings pitching staff thinking, okay, just looking to get the ball in play, something here. And you always are, but then you just launch a dinger out to left. Now Hickman launches a deep fly ball to center. DeVito tracking at the wall. It's off the base of the wall. Hickman is going to stop at second, and it's a double for Eli Hickman.
Eli Hickman, second on the team with on-base percentage. You see his effectiveness right there. And ball carried out probably at least 375, I would say. 375 out to the fence and into the warning track.
Right fielder, number 23, Tyler Dorsch.
Tyler Dorsch at the plate now. Dorsch, a 3-run bomb his last time up at the plate. Hickman dancing at second base. Eck delivers. Dorsch watches that one go for a strike. Oh, 1 count on Dorsch. Pitch on the way, and that's well outside. Ball 1. Looked like a breaking ball, just didn't get the break on it. 1-1 count. Hickman with a short lead at second. Eck double checks. Now he'll pitch. That's just outside for ball 2. Tommy Eck, to his credit, he's given up a home run. He's given up a double. He's finding the zone. It's just not where he wants it to be.
He's hanging tough.
2-1 pitch on the way. That runs well inside for ball 3. Tyler Dorsch's first at-bat was a walk. He would love to just get on base again. Eck gets the call, sets the grip, finds the laces. Now it's set. Checks to second. Kicks, delivers. Outside, ball 4. And that's a solid walk. You have an open base at first. Not the guy you want to mess around with at the plate after the game he's had. Tyler Dorsch gets on base again. Tommy Eck walks a man, and there's going to be a mound visit from Luke Johnson.
And that's what you like to see out of Tyler Dorsch. I mentioned it when he hit the 3-run bomb earlier that his confidence was exploding as soon as he did that. And you see there being patient in the batter's box, not always looking for a hit, but just looking to get on base, contribute to the team, and very effective hitting there.
I mean, it was a first pitch strike from Eck, too. You just stand in there. You don't bite at anything. You take the next 4 pitches for a walk. It's exactly what you want to see. And you're not going to take Eck out of the game here. You're just trying to get him in the right headspace. It's been a tough inning for the freshman so far.
Only one out. Got a little bit of work to do.
You got the heart of the order coming up, too. Kasich at the plate. Jake Mahler, who's on a run, you go back to Saturday. We're at 7 hits in the last 3 days already. And then Brandon Mahler, if you don't get both of them out, this is a tough stretch of the order to find yourself in. Eck delivers. Kasich watches that one go outside for ball 1. We've seen he was pumping it in the zone to start the inning. The Cougars were making contact, homer, double, and now Eck's starting to try and dance around the edges more. Starting to get a little scared of that zone. Checks back to second. Cougars, both of them dancing on the bases. Now he'll deliver. High outside, ball 2.
And you know they're a little nervous of Dorsch on the baseline. He was able to get one off on them earlier in the game. So you know that he's definitely in the back of their mind right now.
And, I mean, you mentioned scared of Dorsch. Eli Hickman, he's the real speed throughout on this Cougars team, and he's not even the main one you're worried out on the bases. It's a tough spot to be in as a defense as that gets pumped in for a strike. Makes it a 2-1 count on Kasich. This makes it 8 pitches straight. We haven't seen a Cougars batter swing the bat at one from Eck. As that one's outside for ball 3. Another 3-1 count for the freshman.
Definitely tell he's a little rattled. You tried calming him down with that mound visit. Let's see if he's able to hit the zone here.
As timeout called by the umpire. Looked like a ball somehow got from the bullpen to home plate. Now a throwdown. Bullpen defense misplays it into the outfield. So now the 3-1 pitch on the way from North Park. Tommy Eck checks, delivers. Ball 4. Another 5-pitch walk. 10 straight pitches that Tommy Eck hasn't been able to get the Cougars defense to bite at. Now looks like it's going to be his day after he loads the bases. Luke Johnson comes back out to the mound. And there's the call to the bullpen. Tommy Eck, a rough third of an inning out on the mound. His day is done with the Cougars. Bases loaded, 1 out. We'll get who the new arm on the mound is for North Park. Once we get a glimpse at that number, Coach Johnson gets him set up.
And I'll say this, Jake Mahler coming up to bat, bases loaded, 1 out. You know he's licking his chops to get in that batter's box. So if I was the North Park head coach right now, I'd be telling him, hey, this is the situation, getting his mind mentally prepared for stepping in and trying to make sure there's not as much damage caused in this situation.
So it'll be Peter Papicios on the mound for the first time today. When he gets himself warmed up out there, we'll take a break here at the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment. Cougars, bases loaded, 1 out. And welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Peter Papikios warmed up, ready to go on the mound, and he is in a tough spot. Bases loaded, 1 out, and you got the best batter on this Cougars lineup for the season, Jake Mahler at the plate, licking his chops for more. Mahler 2 for 2, pair of singles on the day. And he's going to go to first right away. I mean, you get him out from home plate, but you give a run. Papikios drills Mahler's foot. And the Cougars, they lead by 7. It's 11-4 now, Concordia.
And even just watching Papikios in his warm-up there, he wasn't really finding the zone too well, throwing it in the dirt a couple of times, even threw it where the catcher couldn't even locate the ball. So hopefully he's able to settle in here, find the zone.
So now Brandon Mahler at the plate for Concordia. Pitch on the way. Mahler drives that to right center. That'll get down. It's off the wall. 1 run scores. Another comes around to score. The Cougars going for 3. Mahler in safely.
Wow.
Matsuzaki can't field it. And it's now a 14-4 ball game. The Cougars lead by 10. It's a bases clearing double for Brandon Mahler.
Great contact on the ball, and the ball was shifting once again in the air on the way out to the 360 mark out in center right. So great hit by Jake Mahler. We said it before he even stepped in the box that he was looking forward to this opportunity and gets all of his get all the boys home.
This is a tough outfield to play right now. So it's now a man on second, still 1 out. Tyler Crater at the plate. Doesn't get any easier here. Tyler Crater 2 for 2 with a triple and a home run on the day. Takes that low and outside for ball 1.
To say the bats are hot for the Cougars might be an understatement today.
When you look up and down this lineup, at least almost every single one of these guys has some standout offensive play so far today. Crater lifts that high to left field. Lee settling under it, and he'll make the play. And, I mean, you even see there a routine fly ball to left, and you got to sweat a bit because you got to just keep backpedaling and backpedaling and backpedaling. Outfield might be the toughest position on the field right now.
Hands down. And, I mean, even there, like you said, you thought it was going out, but it ended up falling short. But you've seen balls go over there before where you think it's going to fall short of that fence, and it just carries. So,
now Cam Buckley back up at the plate for the Cougars. Takes first pitch for a ball. 1-0 count now. Pitch on the way. Buckley swings, lifts it to center. DeVito settling under it, makes the play. Handled the shifts easily. And that'll do it. Papikios gets out of the inning. 1 earned run to his name, but 3 others come in with it. It's a 14-4 ball game. The Cougars pile on 5 in the 3rd. And Concordia just keeps dominating. We'll see if North Park's offense can get an explosive inning of their own in the top of the 4th. Reese Arakaki coming up to the plate right after the break. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. And there's a first pitch strike to Reese Arakaki, and the Cougars' new face on the mound. And Coach Connor bringing down the hammer on North Park, not letting up at all. Bryce Jones now tossing for the Cougars. 1-1 count on Arakaki, and Jones, top reliever for the Cougars last year. Again, one of the top relievers for the Cougars again so far this year. 5 appearances, 5 2/3, 1.59 ERA through those 5 appearances. He's had a slow start to how much he's out on the mound, but he's still been very good. And you're tuning up Jones, getting him ready for the conference season where he's going to be used a lot.
And he already has a save credited to him this year, too. So he's used to coming in and taking over, taking control of a game, even when he's not starting it out, like you said. Great reliever. Good to get some of these young guys in, get their arms a little loose going into the NAC play and as we get close to the tournament.
Jones finds himself with a 3-1 count now, 3 straight balls. And that one is just high for ball 4. Jones chuckling on the mound. Arakaki heads to first. Now Riley Jepson coming up to the plate for North Park with a man on and no outs.
Third baseman number 15, Riley.
And if you're the Vikings, you just want to claw away at this lead slowly but surely. Just got to take it one batter at a time, one play at a time.
Jones kicks, delivers, catches the inside corner for strike 1. And what's impressed me most about this North Park offense so far, to their credit, 4 runs in 3 innings. That's good. The offense, you can be satisfied with that. Then the defense pitching, that's been lacking. But it's the bottom of the order, how they've been playing, because most of these runs have come from them. That second inning, 2 manufactured runs and a long inning. That third inning, a homer from your 6-hole Enzo Vertucci. I mean, these are guys who aren't usually the producers for this lineup, and they've been really driving the force of the offense today.
And, I mean, another look at that is the bottom of the order, they're able to produce. But if you were to get more production from those top guys, it might likely be a closer game. So if you're the Vikings, you're definitely looking for your top guys. Matsukami, DeVito to step up. Kawakaki, obviously, you want him to step up as well.
I mean, once you get past Jepson here, that brings up Perona, Kawakami, DeVito, Matsuzaki. That's your big 4. So North Park looking to get to their heavy hitters this inning. Big swing and a miss for Jepson. And he's down on strikes. Got him out ahead of that one and well out of the zone. First out of the inning, first strikeout of the day for Bryce Jones. And now Joe Perona up to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. An uncharacteristic day so far for Perona. There's another pickoff attempt over to first, keeping Arakaki close.
And it's like I mentioned, you're looking for those top 4 guys, Kawakami, Perona, DeVito, Matsusaki. They're going to need to step up if they want to get back into this one.
Jones delivers. Perona pops that up in the infield crater, settling. Tracks it through the wind for out number 2. Perona claps the hands in frustration before he jogs back to the dugout.
0 for 3. You're one of the guys that you relied upon for offense. Yeah, I could tell why he's a little frustrated today.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, you mentioned it. These are the guys that, this game could be a little closer, especially because this is a day for prime offense, for a prime offensive breakout, and your top 4 guys struggling. It's not what you want to see, especially not for a tune-up. This is when you're supposed to see these guys, make sure we're hitting the ball well, we're seeing the ball well, and the top, like we mentioned, the bottom of the order is tuning up. The top of the order, they're not where they really want to be for North Park. Kawakami finds himself in a quick 0-2 hole.
Inversely, like you said, Bryce Jones coming in, doing his job, like we expected. Very, very promising future, and definitely look to develop him and get more production out of him, but looking good so far.
Off the outside edge, ball 1. I mean, you gave it that first at-bat walk, but then strikeout, pop up. Already having a great at-bat so far against Kawakami. 1-2 count. Pitch on the way. That's a grounder to second. Boswell fields over to first. 1, 2, 3, 4. But Jones makes quick work of this North Park lineup. No runs scored for the Vikings. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Cougars still lead by 10, and they're looking for more here at the Thunderdome. Back on the Cougar Sports Network for the bottom of the fourth. Your Cougars leading by 10. It's 14-4 in the bottom of the fourth. Sean Boswell leading off an inning again. He shows bunt this time. Popped bunt. Matsuzaki is there. And they'll take that. A good defensive play from North Park. And Boswell on the bunt attempt just gets too much under it. Quick out number one. And that makes it 1 out on 1 pitch in this inning for Peter Papicchios, out for another inning of action on the mound. Xavier Zagerman, pretty much the only player on this Cougars lineup who hasn't had a big moment on offense today. 0 for 2, and he takes that for a first pitch strike. To his credit, though, Zagerman, he's flied out. Both of them fairly, decently hit well to the outfield, pretty deep so far today. He's making the contact, just not enough of it. And a poor swing and a miss on the curveball sets him into an 0-2 hole.
And when he does get on base, he's pretty successful running the bases. So really he's just looking to put that ball into play here.
0-2 pitch in the dirt for ball one. One, 2 count now. Bases empty, 2 outs. 1 out. Zagerman pops that foul. That'll get down. No one's able to get there. Zagerman stays alive. Behind it and under it. So Papicchios, he's had a rough outing so far. We mentioned it. Got beat around a little bit in the third before he got out of it, came in mid-inning, and now he only has 10 pitches thrown so far. He's barely even been out on the mound. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Zagerman goes down on strikes. This has been a nice inning of work so far for Peter Papicchios.
And that might also be the game plan for the Vikings coach as well, is to put those younger guys out there, kind of let them work through difficult innings a little bit. Now that the game is 14-4, you're able to let these guys work through some of their problems a little bit more on the mound there.
Yeah, look out towards that visiting bullpen right now. Nobody even working. So, there's not much of a threat that, you're going to have to replace someone this inning. No one on, already 2 outs. Papicchios is making quick work, but still. Hickman 2 for 3 on the day. Bunt, single, And a deep double so far. He has a quick 2-0 count already. Papicchios kicks, delivers, swing and a miss for Hickman. That one running inside on him. There's the 2-1, makes it a 2-2, catching the outside corner. Papicchios getting himself right back into this at-bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Hickman grounds that foul.
Hickman staying alive there, trying to put the pressure on Papicchios to actually put him away.
I mentioned 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Papicchios trying to get out of it. Fouled back again. Like you mentioned, Hickman just battling at the plate, forcing Papicchios to get him out. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Up at Hickman's head. Hickman dodges it, makes it a full count.
Now this puts the pressure on Papicchios to make a good pitch, whether it be in the zone or outside to get him to chase.
You really want to get that 1-2-3 inning. North Park hasn't held the Cougars scoreless yet today.
Ouch.
And you're not going to get it. Drills Hickman on the hip. 3-2 hit by pitch, and now Tyler Dorsch coming back up to the plate for the Cougars. A freshly shaved Tyler Dorsch.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, he got rid of the beard a little bit, and hey, it paid off. Got him a 3-run shot today. He's looking pretty good.
Number 23, Tyler Dorsch.
So Dorsch, 1 for 1 on the day, pair of walks and a dinger. Got a man on and 2 outs, and he'll lift that into center field. DeVito still tracking back, and it's off the wall. Hickman rounding third. He's going home. Dorsch in at second. And it is a double for Tyler Dorsch, another ribby. And the wind continuing to do work for the Cougars.
Babyface Dorsch, the RBI. And, hey, once again, that ball carried out to center field, putting a lot of pressure on those outfielders. Wasn't able to track it, went right over his head.
I mean, DeVito, he had that lined up. It was a straight line, but you rarely ever play in conditions like this where you just keep going back and back it, back and back it, back. I mean, that is not the kind of ball where you just go nonstop, and that pitch is off the backstop. Dorsch advances to third. You know, it's a bit of tough weather for Papicchios, too, because that's the kind of pitch you induce a fly ball like that. Usually that's an out straight to the center fielder. Instead, it's a double, it's an RBI, and then you throw a wild pitch. You're a little off your game. Guys on third now. Still got Michael Kasich at the plate to deal with.
It's that pressure of feeling you have to be perfect on the mound because any little slip up, that ball gets contact and it's put into play, you don't know what's going to happen.
2 straight high balls to Kasich. And now there's some action in the bullpen for North Park. Papicchios kick steals. That catches the low corner for a strike.
I was going to wonder how long you keep Papicchios out there to let him work through this because, I mean, at this point, there's a certain level where you let him work through things where you don't let his confidence slip.
High outside, ball 3. Breaking ball just didn't break.
Still a freshman. You want to make sure that he's feeling that he can go out there and work through problems. But, I mean, when he's not finding the zone and he's getting a lot of balls on bat, going to want to get him out of there soon.
Ooh, Kasich headed to first. Papicchios paints the edge.
Great pitch.
3-2 count, another full count. Freshman looking to get out of the fourth. Kicks, deals. And it's low. Papicchios thought he caught the corner again. And Kasich will head to first with Jake Mahler back up to the plate.
Yeah, I'm sure he's having nightmares about these hitters for Concordia at this moment because, I mean, he was so close to getting that last batter out of there, but just not able to finish it. As you see the coach come onto the field and have a little chat with them.
Yeah, and this does just look like it'll be a normal mound visit for Papikios. I mean, you really just want to get through the inning, and it's tough. You thought you had, I think there's one point, it was a 1-2 count on Eli Hickman. You almost have that 1-2-3 inning, and then you fall into the full count, hit the batter. Tyler Dorsch comes straight up, and I mean, this is the kind of day you barrel up anything to the outfield, there's a good chance of getting a hit. And then you just walk a guy, you start to lose your confidence a little bit, and it's a very tough spot to be in. This is some of the toughest conditions you can be in as a pitcher. Weather that is actively trying to screw with your game, an offensive lineup that is playing with the weather well, they're feeling themselves, they're super hot. It's a tough kind of game to be in and pitch through. Probably the first time, and it's definitely the first time his career Papikios has pitched in this, as Mahler lifts that in the infield. Arakaki trying to settle under it, has to make a last-minute adjustment to make the play, and that'll win the inning. And Papikios sweats a little bit, but he only allows one run in the bottom of the fourth. It's an 11-run lead for Concordia. Chicago leads 15-4. We'll be back for the top of the fifth in just a moment. And welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. It's a new inning and it's a new face on the mound for the Cougars. One of our broadcasters here in the Athletic Communications office, Alan Mateo, now on the mound for Concordia Chicago. And he works himself right into an 0-2 count on Alex DeVito. DeVito, Matsuzaki, Sommerfeld coming up for the Vikings. And Mateo, this is his fourth appearance on the season so far. That one's outside for a ball, but solid through 4 appearances, 2 and 3 appearances, 2 1/3 inning pitched, 2 earned runs allowed. And you see again, right after you bring the hammer down with Bryce Jones, you put in another one of those more inexperienced arms on the season. Let him get a bit more work as that's popped up towards short left. Cougars tracking, trying to make a play on it. Zagerman's there.
Got me scared a little bit. Had three of them in the area, and they were able to communicate and get the right person to get it. So, good play.
Lagerman darting over, calling everyone off, and probably the smart play there. You have the best angle on it. You're the best ability to make adjustments because you're not straight under it. No risk for danger. 1 out. Ren Matsuzaki up to the plate now for North Park. Matsuzaki, he's been incredible on this season, but he hasn't been incredible today. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
That's exactly what the Cougars were looking for. 392 average coming into this game definitely makes you raise your eyebrows, but they did a good job of suppressing him today up to this point.
Matsuzaki fouls first pitch back, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, fouled off again, make it 0-2. Matsuzaki just not able to time and barrel up these pitches the way he wants to be. What we're going to end up in again is this top of the order for North Park just being made quick work of, and then it's the bottom of the order that has to do some heavy lifting, but Matsuzaki, that's drilled into right field on the ground, thought about two. Nice defense from Tyler Dorsch to get there and hurl that back into second to Zagerman. So it's a single from Matsuzaki, finally. Gets the hit he's been looking for on a hard grounder. Hard line drive, got out of the infield, it did. So 1 out, man on first for Nate Sommerfeld. Sommerfeld struck out swinging his last time at the plate. He'll take that first pitch outside for a ball.
And Sommerfeld's second on the team in RBI, so this is a comfortable position for him, looking to bat in one of his teammates here. So hopefully the Vikings are looking to him to kind of get a rally going.
Mateo goes right back to the same spot, and this time Sommerfeld wants it all and more. Big swing and a miss. 1-1 count. Matsuzaki chilling at first. That pitch goes high for a ball. 2-1 count now on Sommerfeld.
I think the biggest thing you want to see here with Allen is have him throw the ball with confidence and feeling comfortable up there. It's not so much as obviously you want to get batters struck out here, but it's mainly focusing on the experience, feeling confident, feeling comfortable up there, and for the stretch run.
3-1 pitch. Mateo gets that one in, just lowers it a bit and paints the corner. So it's a full count now on Sommerfeld. 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, ran in on him. Sommerfeld jumps back in frustration. He was swinging no matter what. Mateo perfectly placed to force a tough swing, and makes 2 outs.
That's exactly what you like to see. Confident pitches, having command over the ball, being able to get the strikeout here. Great pitch.
You talk about confidence. That's what it is, the confidence to throw what is a ball the whole way on 3-2. Just trust the stuff that much that it's going to swing. First pitch ball to Vertucci. Enzo Vertucci, he loves having a career day against Concordia Chicago. Vertucci, first year in his career, he's seen regular playing time. His last time up at the plate, hit a home run to center field. First time they played the Cougars this season back in February, Vertucci recorded his first career hit. So first career hit against the Cougars, first career home run against the Cougars. That one gets fouled back into the bleachers, just over the bleachers. Makes it a 2-1 count now on Vertucci.
And I know the score is the way it is, but if the Cougars do end up pulling this one out, this will be the first win at home for them. So that'll be exciting.
It is exciting. It's kind of what you want out of that non-conference game, and you hoped you get that this past Saturday against MSOE, but you have a tough slate. I mean, you don't really want to say, you need a get-right game after one series, but you kind of do. That MSOE series was tough, as now there's some confusion out on the field. Connor talking to the umpire. The umpire is trying to say something about Mateo. Not sure Mateo was taking a bit too long on the pitch or wasn't making eye contact with the batter, but 2-1 pitch. Runs inside. They'll say that Vertucci didn't swing. It's a stolen base for Matsuzaki. I mean, Vertucci almost got hit on that one running inside, and Mateo just getting thrown off a little bit by the break in pace. So a 3-1 count now on Vertucci. Pumps that one in, another full count. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Matsuzaki at second. Mateo checks back, delivers. That's a grounder to third. Crater charging, fields over to first. And Kasich can't pick it. Matsuzaki comes home to score. Vertucci's into second. And it's another RBI on the error for Enzo Vertucci. That's a tough play to make it first every time. And to Crater's credit, he got it over there, but on the hop, Kasich just misjudged it. Went higher off the bounce than he expected. So run scores, Vertucci at second.
Left fielder number 14, Rylan Lee.
You just want to see Allen just settle in here. Don't let that rattle him a little bit. You gave up a run. That's not a big deal at the end of the day. You just want to see that confidence and that command still stay high.
1-0 pitch to start the at-bat against Lee. Make it a 1-1. Right on the inside edge. Lee had one of the best bunts you'll ever see his first time up in the game. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Mateo delivers. Lee chops that foul. We're coming up 3 minutes away from coming up on the 2-hour mark for today's game. And in an inning that hasn't even reached 4.5 innings yet. This has been a long ball game so far. That's right to Zagerman and through the glove. Vertucci comes around to score. Lee safe at first. And it's another run in for North Park. They've cut the deficit to single digits. It's 15-6.
Umpire had to do a little bit of the matrix out there and in center field there.
That's a tough ball to field at short. It was kind of in the air. Took one hop right before it gets to you. Has to bend past the umpire. Bend past Mateo. Had a lot of curve on it as well. You know, it's a tough play to make, but that does make it back-to-back errors by the Cougars infield.
All things considered, Mateo's hanging in there. As you mentioned, a couple of errors. Not necessarily his fault, but definitely don't want to let that rattle him.
Is number 43, Graham Porter.
And we got a new player at the plate now. And that play was dropped by Boswell. Nearly lays out for it. Can't reel it in. And it's a hit on his first play in the game for Graham Porter, the senior out of Portland, Oregon. Porter, number 43, coming into the game for Arakaki and making an impact. Runners at first and second now.
Riley Jepson.
Riley Jepson back up to the plate. Lifts that into left field for a base hit. They're sending Lee home. Throw into home is not in time. Lee gets under the tag.
Now you're starting to see the Vikings rally a little bit. Like I mentioned, it all started off with the top hitter of this entire order here. He really got this kick started. The Vikings were looking for a rally in this inning, and they're starting to find it a little bit.
You got another base hit. Riley Jepson, that's his first hit of the season on the first pitch he faces. and it drives in a run. Joe Perona at the plate again. And now Perona, what's weird is you have this situation. North Park's climbing back into the game. And again, who was it? It wasn't the top of the order that did it. It was the bottom of the order.
And that's what you like to see when you're the Vikings, especially going into conference play, as we mentioned. They're seeing nothing but CCIW opponents. So this is really the time for those guys that aren't really looked upon offensively to kind of step up, work on their game, and get a little more comfortable with hitting. And you've definitely seen that here today.
Perona 0 for 3 on the day, and he finds himself in a 1-2 hole against Mateo. Mateo checks back to second, kicks, delivers. Perona holds, and that's a pitch in the dirt off of Mahler. Both runners advance.
Like I mentioned, you wanted to see Allen kind of work through his problems, work through the issues with the inning, but kind of the same thing that the Vikings were dealing with. How much is too much is the question for Coach.
2 balls, 2 strikes. That's well high. Mahler reaches up for it. Full count now on Perona, who's in prime position to get on base for the first time today. Full count, 2 outs. Mateo trying to stop the bleeding, trying to get out of the inning. There's 2 runners in scoring position for Perona. He does have a base open at first. Kicks, delivers. Ball 4. And you know that's a solid pitch to not take the risk of giving Perona something to hit. You've given up 3 runs. You have an open base at first. It doesn't get much easier, but it doesn't get much harder with Kawakami coming up next.
Definitely, and you can see his teammates out there kind of talking to him a little bit, trying to settle him down, because you could tell he's a little rattled. And like you said, bases loaded. You don't want to give up too many more runs here. I know we're up by 8 runs, but definitely don't want to give up another 2 or 3 to get that even closer.
Yeah, and it's a repeat story for the Vikings. I mean, for Concordia now, same situation that Peter Papicchio was in for the Vikings in the bottom of the 4th. You gun through the first 2, looking nice for a 1-2-3 inning, and then you fall into a little bit of a rut of mistakes. Same thing for Mateo here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Kawakami at the plate. That pitch outside for a ball.
Start to hear the North Park Vikings trying to get into Allen's head a little bit, chirping at him some.
That's fouled back by Kawakami. This is where you start to see this usually in a game where a team climbs back into it. That North Park dugout has been dead for the last couple of innings, but now, like you mentioned, they're chirping a bit. They're getting back into the game. They have some life. I mean, it's not likely. You're one swing of the bat, though, especially with this wind, from only being down 4. That pitch catches the bottom of the zone for a strike. 1-2 count now on Rylan Kawakami. Mateo trying to get out of it. Stop the bleeding at 3.
I know the trend has been kind of rotating pitches in and out of here, but you got to question Bryce Jones going out. He had good command up to this point. I understand trying to get younger arms in here and inexperienced arms in, but the question is, how much do you want to let them back into this game?
Kawakami holds for a ball. 2-2 count now on the second baseman. Mateo delivers. High, ball 3. And you can tell Mateo, he's a little rattled with those mistakes. He got hit well by the bottom of the order, and now once he gets in that 2-strike count, he knows their swing. He's starting to dance around the zone a bit more.
And this is not the batter that you want to kind of mess with a little bit here. You're talking about a 361 batting average.
Everyone goes. It's a base hit. 1 run will score. Make it 2. Jepson rounds third. It's an RBI single, 2-run score for Rylan Kawakami. And the Vikings are raiding their way back into this game. A 5-run top of the 5th, and that makes it a 6-run game. The Cougars still a big lead, but it is slipping.
As I was just talking about before that hit happened, he has a 361 batting average for a reason. He gets bats on balls, and you saw it right there. Allen was definitely playing around the zone, as you see with the pitching change coming out here. We'll give you the name of that pitcher in a second. But, hey, I mean, you got to make sure that you're staying focused, can't get rattled because, hey, you could let a team back in. You're up 10-plus runs, and now you're down only up 6. So hopefully this pitching change comes in here and this new pitcher is able to get this Cougar team back on track.
It's Caden Bork into the game now for the Cougars. Bork, the freshman out of McHenry, Illinois. As you look over at North Park, the dugout, they're on their feet. They're starting to feel a little bit more. I mean, this is an interesting situation. That is a 2-out rally. 5-run, 2-out rally, and they'll look to do a bit more. We'll get you briefed up on Caden Bork right after the break, as we'll take a short break here at the Cougar Sports Network. We'll be back in just a minute for more Cougar baseball. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Caden Bork on the mound, and he gives up a single up the middle on his very first pitch. That's an RBI single for Alex DeVito. Perona comes in to score. Kawakami moves up to second. I mean, this North Park team losing no momentum, no time right after that pitching change.
And inversely, you're seeing the Cougars, there's been a couple of balls not going their way. You saw the throw from Crater over to first base, missing there. There was an error, just a lot of little mistakes leading to this big rally. Now only up 5 runs.
And now Matsuzaki, who started this rally, back up to the plate. And a big swing and a miss. You wanted it all right there. And you're at the point in one swing of the bat from Matsuzaki here, and this is the guy on that team who it's very, very possible to happen with. 3 home runs on the season, 647 slug. You're only down by 2. Stolen base. Very close. Over at third. Kawakami safely into the bag. DeVito takes third as well. That goes as a ball.
As you mentioned, Matsuzaki, not a super productive day today, but you cannot sleep on him.
Matsuzaki takes that for a strike. Didn't take it. Field ump says he swung. One-two count on Matsuzaki. Bork trying to get out of the inning. And it's a swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt. They get the ball to first. Matsuzaki, third strikeout of the day. Caden Bork gets that last out. The Cougars get out of the inning, but they give up 6. North Park gets their big inning, and they are very much back in this ball game. It's a 5-run game. Concordia leads 15-10 over the Vikings, and we'll be right back to see if the Cougars can respond in just a minute. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. New face on the mound, Jackson Noose, and a new face at second base, Kupono Akaka, into the game now for the Vikings. Brandon Mahler at the plate for the Cougars. Had a double to right center field his last time up at the plate. Takes the first pitch from Noose on the inside edge for a strike.
Well, if you like offense today, you got a bunch of it. I mean, 25 runs up to this point, and we're only in the bottom of the fifth. I mean, heck of a day, and it all goes back to that wind. It's carrying the ball. It's creating opportunities for the offense, making it difficult on the defense.
Mahler fouls that off over the dugout for a strike, but yeah, the Cougars still haven't had an inning where they haven't scored. First and fourth, they've only scored one. But Mahler pops that up to second base. Akaka charging. That's going to get all the way out to Perona. You know, on a normal day, that's a pop-up barely out of the infield. This time it gets over halfway through the outfield. That's out number one. Mahler flies out to right.
Third baseman number 52, Tyler Crater.
Tyler Crater up to the plate now. Crater triple home run and then flew out deep to left his last time at the plate, 2 for 3 on the day. Noose deals. Catches the bottom of the zone for a strike.
It's a good breaking ball.
It's an 0-1 count now on Crater. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Another good breaking ball. Crater was expecting fastball, couldn't adjust.
Has really good command over the ball right now.
And we've talked about this. Noose, one of the 3 go-to relievers for the Vikings. They've gone through so much of their bullpen. Now they're back in this game. They're dipping in to the well. 3-pitch strikeout on Crater.
Yeah, he is throwing some nasty stuff right now. He's definitely comfortable coming into this one.
Nothing but strikes since he came into the game for Noose. I mean, that is exactly how you're working it back. Breaking ball in the zone. Get him to swing on a breaking ball just outside of the zone and then just pump him with high heat high up in the zone. Cam Buckley up to the plate now. Flew out to center his last time at the plate, and he swings at a high strike himself. Jackson Noose, he's a go-to reliever on the season. Hasn't been unstoppable. 9 earned runs in 14 and a third innings, but he is dealing against the Cougars so far. That's the first ball thrown by Noose outside off the plate for ball 1.
And if you're the Cougars, you got to keep up this offensive intensity. I mean, early in their game, you saw how aggressive they were, but now it's towards the middle of the game. They got a little complacent. You want to see them liven up a little bit more.
That ball fouled off over the third base dugout. Makes it a 1-2 count. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs for Buckley. Noose kicks, deals. Just off the outside edge for ball 2. Matsuzaki doing what he can to sell it as a strikeout. 2-2-2 on the board. Noose gets the call. Buckley at the plate. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Noose runs up the Cougs. 1, 2, 3. And the shortest inning we've seen from either team today ends with a strikeout on Cam Buckley. The Vikings, they only trail by 5. They hold the Cougars scoreless for the first time today. And we'll head to the top of the 6th. North Park trying to get back into it even more. Caden Bork, he's coming back out on the mound for the Cougars in just a moment. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Nate Sommerfeld at the plate for the Vikings. Caden Bork back out on the mound. We didn't really get a chance to talk about him last inning because the inning ended so quick, but Caden Bork has been solid in his first season with the Cougars, and there's a solid hit to the side of Nate Sommerfeld to kick off the inning, so it's a man on, no outs for the Vikings. And Bork gave up a single in his very first pitch out on the mound last inning and got out of it. On the season, counting that last out from the last inning, 5 innings pitched, only 1 earned run given up, and that stays because that runner that scored wasn't his. But he's already getting a mound visit from Colin Connor after hitting Nate Sommerfeld on 1 pitch.
I'm sure he's up there telling them, don't worry about it. Make sure you stay composed. You've seen other Cougar pitchers go through some adversity and kind of fold. So he's up there probably letting them know, hey, just stay confident, stay comfortable up there, and you'll be able to make it out.
First baseman number 19, Enzo Vertucci.
Enzo Vertucci back up at the plate. And Vertucci, 2 for 3 on the day. He has reached base every single time he's been at the plate. Singled his first at-bat, homered straight away to center his last at-bat, reached base on an error in the 5th inning. Takes that for a ball, pops that up in the infield. Boswell settling under it and makes the play for out number 1. Bertucci gets under it. He'll head back to the dugout. First time he hasn't reached base today. So that brings up to the plate Rylan Lee. Lee also reached base on what has been changed actually to a base hit. Straight hard base hit straight at the shortstop his last time up. Fouls that off over the dugout. Start this at bat. 0-1 count for Lee.
I think you touched on it, too. I know we've highlighted the bottom portion of this batting order for the Vikings, but I think a lot of the surprise comes from the lack of at-bats. It's not just that they're at the bottom of the order. It's Bertucci with, before this game, 15 at-bats. You got Jepson, as you mentioned, barely had any hits coming into this game. Even right now with Lee, he has 2 at-bats, hardly any hits, 0 stat line, but still being effective in this game. That's where a lot of the surprise for the Cougars have come.
1-1 count on Lee, and Lee flies that into right field for a base hit. Sommerfeld holds up at second. Runners on first and second. 1 out for Kupono Akaka, taking his first at-bat of the day.
And as I just said, a guy not known to be a hitter, not very quality when it comes to hits, but still able to get a hit off, get on base, and allow the opportunity for others to run him in.
Yeah, and Akaka on the season actually doesn't have any recorded at-bats. So this is his first at-bat of the season, and he takes that first pitch for a strike. A 1 count on Akaka. Bork delivers. Breaking ball breaks a bit too much. Akaka doesn't bite. It's a 1-1 count. Runners on first and second. Pitch on the way. That does catch the outside edge. Heater makes it a 1-2 count.
And Bork just needs to settle down. He has a lead. Even though there's 2 runners on, he just needs to take his time, get comfortable, and he'll be able to make it through.
What you really got to do as well is kill the North Park momentum. They spent a 6-run inning into the first 1-2-3 inning for either team today. If you can keep them scoreless this inning, that'd be huge for your team's mental state and for the mental state of the Vikings. You got yourself in a 2-2 count now on Akaka.
And more importantly, finishing the inning. We've seen multiple cases where they have 2 outs. You almost get that third batter out, but then they go on a rally.
Hard grounder to first. There's 1 at 2. Won't get the out at first. Didn't get to Bork in time. Akaka actually tripped up on Bork. So there's 1 out on the fielder's choice. Sommerfeld advances to third. So with runners at the corners, that'll bring Riley Jepson up to the plate.
This is where the Cougars need to capitalize. Like I just said, they need to be able to make it out this inning completely and not allow a rally even though there's 2 outs to go, or 1 out to go, sorry.
Two outs, runners at the corners for Jepson, who had his first career hit his last time at the plate. He takes that pitch high around the head for ball 1. And a couple career firsts for the Vikings today. First career home run for Enzo Bertucci. First career base hit for Riley Jepson. 1-0 pitch. Catches the bottom corner for strike 1. 1-1 count now on Jepson. Ooh, and a nice breaking ball.
Wow.
Into the zone. That's a high curveball, and Jepson, he thought heater the whole way. And Bork just dodges the bat. 1-2 count on Jepson. Bork deals. That's fouled off by Jepson. That was going to be another breaking ball in the zone, so great job fending that off to stay alive.
And if I'm Bork, I'm keeping it high. Obviously, he's looking to bite on some of those inside, more middle pitches, so try and get him to swing at something a little higher than what he's comfortable at.
1-2 pitch on the way. Bork deals. That's low in the dirt for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on. They're at the corners for Riley Jepson. Bork checks first, checks third. Now he'll deal. Fouled off again. Jepson continuing to stay alive. That glancing off the shoulder of Mahler. Going to go on to a 7-pitch at bat now. I mean, this is a tough, gritty at bat from Riley Jepson. You get up there, 2 outs. You're trying to continue the momentum. You don't want to let this end without scoring a run, and you're fighting. Bork trying to get out of it. Pickoff attempt over to first. Can't get Akaka too far off the bag, so no dice.
And that's one area that the Vikings have shored up as well as their base running. You can tell the base running has definitely improved over the game, which brought them back into this.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. In the dirt, ball 3, Jepson. He has worked a great at-bat, and he's turned this into a full count. Three balls, 2 strikes.
If I'm Bork, I'm not giving him a chance to hit this one.
Bork deals. Low, ball 4.
He did what I thought he would. He just didn't bite for it. So good eye in the box there.
Yeah, and Jepson, after those first 2 strikes, his head went walk right away, and he fought for it. Great, tough, gritty at-bat from the third baseman. And now Joe Perona up to the plate with the bases loaded. Perona drew a walk his last time at the plate. He's 0 for 3 on the day. You're normally a decent hitter, hitting over 300 on the season coming into this game. Pops that towards third base. Crater settles under it. And Joe Perona hangs the bat. A soft foul out to third base is not how you want to let the Cougars escape that jam.
One of the leading hitters, too.
Tough day for Joe Perona continues. Concordia, they kill the North Park momentum. 0 runs scored in the top of the 6th. First time today we've had back-to-back half innings with no runs scored. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. It's Jackson Noose coming back out on the mound for North Park right after this. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network, bottom of the sixth here at the Thunderdome. The Cougars looking to get back on the board. They still lead by 5 over North Park. It's 15-10. Yashawn Boswell coming up to the plate against Jackson Noose. Noose made quick work of the Cougars his last inning. 1-2-3 on 11 pitches. Boswell takes that first breaking ball for a ball.
The Cougars just need to be patient. Allow the pitchers of North Park to dictate whether they swing or not. Really just take what's given to them, and that's really what they need to focus on going forward.
1-1 count on Boswell. That ball's high for ball 2. And that pitch catching the high inside corner, just breaking back in at the last second for strike 2.
I'm impressed by Noose's command. It's very the confidence is really high right now, and he's got a lot on it. Oh,
and he
man.
gets Boswell looking silly on that last swing. Boswell expecting a heater and just committing to the swing the whole way on a breaking ball outside of the zone.
Shortstop number 16, Xavier Zagerman.
1 out brings up Xavier Zagerman to the plate. Zagerman struck out swinging his last time at the plate. He shows bunt and takes that in the zone for a strike. Jackson Noose just continuing to deal against the Cougars. 3 strikeouts already, and he's well on his way to a 4th.
I mean, he is completely in command of the strike zone right now. The Cougars are not seeing the balls that he is throwing. I mean, it's impressive so far.
0-2 pitch.
Ouch.
And that'll break it inside, hits Zagerman's wrist. So Zagerman reaches base for the first time today. That breaking ball, which has been so effective for Noose, just doesn't break. And Xavier Zagerman heads to first base. Eli Hickman up to the plate now. Hickman hit by a pitch his last time at the plate. He's 2 for 3 on the day. So Noose is going to face the top of the order for Concordia for the first time tonight. Pitch on the way. Hickman pops up that bunt. And a great play from Riley Jepson. And Zagerman gets doubled up.
I mean, you talk about an effort play down there on the third base line. I thought that was going to hit. I did not expect him to get there, but barely got the glove underneath there and able to complete the play by throwing it over to first. Impressive stuff right there.
Connor is passionately arguing the call on the field. If I have to guess, judging from what he's saying, he's arguing that there was no clear call, that the ball was caught, so Zagerman didn't know he had to go back to the bag. And that would make sense. Zagerman didn't start heading back to the bag until it was halfway to first. But the call will stand. Zagerman walks off the field. The Cougars catch a tough break. So another 3-batter inning for CUC. Second time today we've seen them caught out on a pop-up bunt. Second scoreless inning in a row. First time today that's happened for either team. And trailing by 5, North Park will come back up to the plate in the top of the 7th. New face on the coming up on the mound for the Cougars in just a minute.
Rylan Kawakami.
Welcome back to Cougar Sports Network. Rylan Kawakami leading off the top of the 7th for North Park. Jack Linko on the mound for Concordia Chicago, and he deals a first pitch strike to Kawakami. North Park held scoreless in the top of the 6th. Linko, a breaking ball, breaking in.
Great pitch.
We saw Noose break out that sort of curveball that breaks in the last second on the Cougars in the bottom of the 6th. Linko breaking it out on North Park in the top of the 7th. 0-2 pitch. That's outside for ball 1. Kawakami reached base on a single, his first hit of the day, his last time at the plate. A 1-2 pitch on the way from Linko. That's high, ball 1. Ball 2 on Kawakami. 2-2 count now. Heart of the order coming up for the Vikings. Kawakami up to the plate. DeVito on deck. Matsuzaki in the hole. Swing and a miss! Linko gets Kawakami swinging silly at the breaker. That's out number 1.
There's some great pitching on display here. Breaking balls, getting batters to swing at stuff that isn't there. I mean, there is some good stuff being dealt out here today.
I mean, we're getting kind of a tale of 2 games. We go to those first, 4.5 innings. Offense, offense, offense for both of these teams, really. Now, pretty much we're looking on the last 2 innings. The pitching from both of these squads has been turned on. That first pitch to DeVito high for ball 1.
And you touched on it, too. I mean, that's kind of how the game was played. These 2 teams came into this with a game plan of, hey, we're going to start with these guys. Hopefully they give us, as you see, a ball hit center left, and that is caught by the Cougars.
The wind not blowing out enough to left field. It's shifted a bit more southeast. That's played by Buckley for out number 2. So Linko making quick work of North Park in the top of the 7th.
But like I said, it's a tale. Like you said, a tale of 2 games, and I mean, they were kind of forced into this position. They wanted to go into their bullpen, but now they've kind of exhausted a lot of their bullpen, having to go to more of their key guys here.
Matsuzaki back up to the plate, and he lifts that to left field. Buckley having to charge on it, and he makes the adjustment he needs to, adjusting to the wind. And that does it. 1, 2, 3, 7 pitches for Jack Linko in the top of the 7th. He slices up the Vikings' heart of the order. North Park still trails by 5. It's 15-10. Cougars, as we head to the top of the 7th. Tyler Dorsch coming up at the plate for Concordia Chicago. And we're back on the Cougar Sports Network. New face on the mound for North Park. Brett Ravitz takes to the dirt. Throws a first pitch ball to Tyler Dorsch, and then a second pitch strike, runs it up inside. A new face at the backstop as well. Griffin Self replacing Ren Matsuzaki. Matsuzaki limping off the field, looking a little banged up. And North Park maybe seeing something, maybe playing it safe with their star player who struggled at the plate today. Dorsch quickly finding himself in a 1-2 hole now on Ravitz.
And this is who the Cougars hope can start this rally for them going into this inning.
Sorry. 1-2 count still on Dorsch. That one fouled off. Tyler Dorsch lifts that to left center.
Oh, come on.
That's carrying, still carrying, off the wall. Dorsch rounding second, having to charge on it is DeVito. They'll hold Dorsch at second. It is another double for Tyler Dorsch. 3 for 3 on the day. Pair of doubles and a homer now for the right fielder, and he really has turned it on. He tags Brett Ravitz in his first batter of the day.
And I said it. That's who the Cougars were going to rely on to start this rally off. He's been hot coming into this game, still remains hot, and great hit.
Mike Kasich up to the plate now for the Cougars. We kind of talked about this during the break. You pulled Jackson Noose, who was slicing up Concordia after just 20 pitches. And Jackson Noose, I mean, he has gotten a lot of longevity out of this game. He works as a starter occasionally for North Park, and only 2 innings, 20 pitches, and you pull him after he was cooking this lineup. I mean, it's a risk. Ravitz has been performing at about the same level as Noose, but anytime you do that, it's going to be a risk. And the Cougars already a runner in scoring position with no outs for Mike Kasich.
I mean, you're down 5. The worst you can do is just give him another inning. I mean, he's feeling good. He's feeling confident up there on the mound. I would have left him in, but definitely, obviously went with a different direction.
2 balls now on Kasich. Ravitz runs that high and in. Two-0 count. Dorsch stands at second. Mahler on deck. Another Mahler in the hole. Ravitz deals. That just catches the outside edge for a strike. Kasich blows at that one. 2-1 count now. That one just breaking in at the last second, it looked like. 2-1 pitch. Pickoff attempt to second. That is a dangerous pickoff attempt. Ravitz decided to go for it. Akaka wasn't covering the bag. That's actually not Kupono Akaka at second. That is Rylan Kawakami. Looks like Akaka's at short. Yeah, Kawakami not covering the bag. That pitch high. 3-1 count now on Kasich. And that's a base hit for Mike Kasich into right, a worm burner. They get to the outfield. Dorsch coming home in safely. Throw not enough on it from Perona. And the Cougars get back on the board. Still no outs. Mike Kasich, an RBI single, his first hit of the day. And the Cougars get that lead back out to 6.
Good solid contact. Wanted to make sure he put the ball on the play, hitting it right through the gap in between first and second. Great play there. And then Dorsch running those bases, going for that home plate, and able to get it there.
Yeah, it's aggressive base running. Looked for a second, could this be a close play at the plate, but it wasn't an accurate throw, wasn't hard enough, dribbled in at the end of the day. So now you have Jake Mahler up to the plate with a man on first. Mahler 2 for 3 on the day. Popped out to short his last time at the plate. Pitch on the way. Mahler fouls that off towards the Cougars' dugout. And the play's made!
Oh, wow.
Vertucci reaching into the dugout to make the catch. And Mahler pops out into his own dugout. A nice play to stick with that from Vertucci. And just a tough angle from Mahler. Another inch or two further right, and that's just going to be a normal foul ball.
Great concentration. Not easy over there in enemy territory trying to focus on the ball there, but great play by the Vikings.
One out runner at first for Brandon Mahler. Flew out to right his last time at the plate. And Mahler fouls that off, makes it a 1-1 count. Got out ahead of that one. Rabbits, 13 pitches now. Checks to first, now kick and deal. That one off the plate for ball 2. Two-one count now. Rabbit steals, and Mahler fouls it off.
Don't want to chase, just got to stay patient, stay locked in the batter's box there. Don't want to go chasing balls here.
2-2 count now. Pitch on the way. Kasich running for second. And he is easily tagged out. Ravitz threw high. Easy transition for Self. And the throw on the money. Kasich, not exactly the base ceiling guy for the Cougars. And he is out by a mile. 2 outs now. 3-2 count for Mahler. Mahler will head to first on on the walk. So the Cougars get their man back at first, but there's no one at second now. Just kind of a wasted steal attempt then from Michael Kasich, but you're okay with it. You have a man on, still batting with Tyler Crater coming up to the plate now. Crater 2 for 4 on the day. Struck out swinging his last time at the plate. Takes that low for a ball. Crater, he's been hitting the ball deep today. Triple off the wall. Home run to left field. Flew out to deep left field as well. 1-0 count. And Crater barrels that up to the opposing bullpen. Makes that a 1-1 count. Just got out ahead of it.
Still's making good contact with the ball. Confidence is still there, so look for Crater to try and hit this one out again.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner at first. Crater, grounder to third. Jepson fields and bobbles it. Claps the glove in frustration. Just has to smile it off. Crater safe at first, and now that's 2 men on for the Cougars on the error. 2 men on for Cam Buckley. Coming up to the plate.
Fielder number 15, Cam Buckley.
Vikings are running out of time here. They're going to need to tighten it up defensively if they want to continue to crawl closer and closer to the Cougars here.
Buckley struck out swinging his last time up at the plate. Shows bunt, pulls back on it, but it's in the zone. Still called for a strike. That is a falcon flying around the bleachers right in front of the press box. Not a sight you'll see every day at Cougar Field. 0-1 pitch, and Buckley fouls that off over the North Park dugout.
He really likes that left side of the field, huh?
I mean, Buckley, which isn't what you'd expect from the lefty. He's hitting oppo with almost every time he makes contact. You'd expect him to pull a bit more right. I mean, that's something that you kind of would hope to see from one of these pull hitters with the Cougars. You lift something at all to right field, that will carry. And we haven't really seen that from either team today. Pitch on the way. That's high for ball. Ball one. 1-2 count on Buckley. 2 outs, runners at first and second. Rabbits trying to get out of the inning. Pitch on the way. Off the outside edge for ball 2. Just missing. North Park dugout wanted the call. Have to wait at least one more pitch. 2-2 on the scoreboard. 2 men on.
Buckley's hanging tough right now.
And Rabbit steps off. Runners head back to the bases. Mount Mahler had a very short lead at second, so Rabbit's just trying to apply pressure. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Buckley was swinging all day, and he gets him with a breaking ball low. That makes it 1 run scored in the bottom of the 7th. Tyler Dorsch runs up a double. Kasich drives him in with the single. And the Cougars get their lead back up to 6 runs. It's 16-10 Concordia, Chicago. As we head to the break, we'll be back in just a second for more Cougar baseball. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Nate Sommerfeld leading it off for North Park in the top of the 8th. Jack Linko, he diced up North Park in the top of the 7th. He's back out for another inning of action. And Sommerfeld fouls that straight back to the backstop for pitch number 1.
Had a couple of fans scared back there behind home plate.
0-1 count now on Nate Sommerfeld. Linko steps off, looks at his glove. Gets himself reset. North Park really needs to do something this inning. The wind is still blowing out. They can still get that offense blowing up. And, you know, we haven't seen them explode with power really yet this game. A lot of it's been coming off of manufactured runs, singles, errors. 1 home run. It only came in a 2-run inning, and that makes it an 0-2 count. Sommerfeld looking silly at that one.
Linko's having some pretty good command on the ball. Like you said, he cut him up last time he was out here on the mound, so looking to keep that command on the ball.
Fended off by Sommerfeld. Just got to stay alive. It's Vertucci on deck, Lee in the hole. Vertucci has actually had a very good day against the Cougars so far. Linko kicks, deals, fouled back again. Sommerfeld not done yet. Still an 0-2 count. 5th pitch is yet back coming up.
Summerfield's been good trying to hang tough in the batter's box today, too. Not only has he had a productive day, but he's been drawing out these long, drawn-out innings and just staying in the box, 9, 10 pitch innings and that kind of stuff whenever he's up there.
And there's a first pitch outside the zone from Linko. 1-2 count on Summerfeld. Summerfeld still without a hit today. He's 0 for 2, struck out swinging twice. He's reached base twice on a walk and a hit by pitch. Here's the 1-2. That's a breaking ball, never even in the zone for ball 2. Summerfeld works his way back to an even count. Great job of fending it off and staying patient. 2-2 pitch. That'll get him. Summerfeld goes around. Linko runs him up high and in, and Summerfeld bites. Another strikeout for Jack Linko. And that brings up to the plate Enzo Vertucci. Vertucci 2 for 4 with a single and a home run. Linko deals high, ball 1, and Vertucci, first career home run against the Cougars today. Has reached base 3 times, had an error in the 5th as well. You hear the bell start ringing here at Concordia, Chicago. It's signalized 6 o'clock, coming on 3 hours for today's game as we're 1 out through the top of the 8th. 1 ball, 1 strike on Vertucci. Fouls that off to make it a 1-2 count. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out on the inning. No men on for the Vikings. Linko kicks, deals. And that's a grounder straight to second. Boswell fields over to Kasich for out number 1. Out number 2.
Good play. Way to not rush the throw there. Make sure he controlled it and sent it on over to first for the out.
And Boswell has had a great game today, a great rebound game. That game 2 of the doubleheader against MSOE was probably one of the worst defensive games of his career. 3 defensive errors today. He has been locked in on the defensive side of the ball and on the offensive side, picking up a home run as well.
Another nasty pitch by Jack Linko.
I mean, talk about it. This is what the Cougars needed on the mound. Jackson Noose came in, the first pitcher from really either side, to just start cutting up a lineup, and Linko has done the same for the Cougars. As that's high for a ball. That breaking ball not breaking enough. Lee, 2 for 4 on the day. The bunt, hit, and a single. 1-2 pitch, high for ball 2.
He likes that overarching breaking ball, trying to get it, leaving it high and having it drop right down into the zone at the end. Just missing the last 2 times on that, but likes that pitch there.
It's fouled off by Lee, so that makes it a 2-2 count. He does stay alive. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Lee barrels that up. A high fly ball to right field. Dorsch on the move into foul territory. And he makes the play. Tyler Dorsch on the run. Past the foul line. And the Cougars, 1, 2, 3. Jack Linko continues dealing on the mound. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Concordia Chicago leads 16-10. And we'll come back to this broadcast. Yashawn Boswell coming up to the plate right after this. Welcome back to the Cougar Sports Network. Concordia, Chicago, coming up to the plate for what could be the last time tonight here in the bottom of the 8th. Zach Price, the top bullpen arm for North Park, on the mound to kick off the bottom of the 8th. Yashawn Boswell coming up to the plate for the Cougars. Boswell 2 for 4 on the day with a bunt single and a home run. And Price starts his day off with a foul ball. 0-1 count on Boswell.
Cougars just looking to add a little more cushioning going into the 9th inning here. So don't want to press, don't want to chase balls, but still want to be a little aggressive here.
0-1 pitch. Catches the zone. 0-2. The ball's 2 strikes on Boswell. Price, like we mentioned, the top arm out of the pen for North Park. 13 2/3 innings pitched on 5 appearances. Just 6 earned runs allowed on the season, which is the lowest amongst those long-distance relievers for North Park. That breaking ball got away for a ball. 1-2 count on Boswell. 1-2 pitch. Boswell, hot shot up the middle. That worm burner gets into the outfield for a base hit.
There it is. Nice, easy base hit to get the inning started. Like I said, want to add to lead, add a little more cushion. Obviously up 6 runs. That's a sizable lead, but always good to add a little more to that.
Shortstop number 16, Xavier Zagerman.
Zagerman up to the plate now. Reached pace on a hit by pitch. His last time at the plate, 0 for 3 otherwise. And he'll take that first pitch outside in the dirt for ball 1. 1-0 count on Zagerman. Make it 1-1. That pitch just catching the corner. Fouled back, 1-2. Zagerman had a really strong start to this season, and he has struggled a little more at the plate recently. 1-2 count on the sophomore. Pitch on the way. Dribbles that straight back to the mound. There's 1 at second, 2 at first. It's a double play for North Park. Zagerman's tough day at the plate continues. That's exactly what Zach Price is looking for. And just like that, you got 2 outs. 1-6-3 double play for North Park.
Number 19, Eli Hickman.
So those 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Eli Hickman comes up to the plate for Concordia, Chicago. Hickman takes that high and in for strike 1.
And you know Price is feeling real good right now. 2 outs, looking to give his team a chance going into this 9th inning here.
And Hickman fouls that off to make it 0-2. Price doing the work he needs to.
Ouch.
You'd hear that one from up here in the press box. Looked like it almost went off of Hickman's knee as he takes a jog over to first base, showing no signs. Wear and tear from his second hit by pitch today. So Price is going to have to work a little longer. That fastball getting away from him.
Number 23,
Tyler Dorsch coming back up to the plate for the Cougs. Dorsch 3 for 3 on the day. Pair of walks and then a homer and a pair of doubles. Man on first, 2 outs for Dorsch. And he'll lift that to left field. Charging on it is Lee, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Tyler Dorsch continues his day. He keeps the Cougars batting around. A single for the right fielder. 4 for 4 on the day.
Having a fantastic day. I know he started off the season a little slow, but hey, coming on here late, and this is where it really counts. This is where it matters. Middle of the season, looking to make a good push going into these other games coming up. Great outing by Tyler Dorsch.
Yeah, this has been a perfect non-conference tune-up game for Dorsch. I mean, you have played a couple conference games already, but like this is that moment you're getting right. You know, after this, it's just conference from here on out, and now one of your star players is starting to heat up a bit. 1-0 count on Michael Kasich on that pitch outside. Kasich, RBI single his last time at the plate in the bottom of the 7th. Pitch on the way. Make it 2-0. Breaking ball never caught the zone.
So you could see Price. He went from being a little comfortable because of that double play, and now two runners on, still 2 outs, but can tell he's getting a little shooken up by that.
Yeah, he's trying to avoid the inside more after that hit by pitch. That's in the dirt. That's going to get to the backstop. Both runners advance. Self is able to pick it up and cover everyone else off. And that one, another breaking ball, just got away from him, bounced down in front of the plate.
Definitely looks a little shaken, like I said. I mean, he's got to hang tough in here. I mean, you're down 6 runs. You can't afford to give up even just another run. That makes it all the more difficult for the offense.
Yeah, and there it is. You know, get that 3-0 count. You just want Price to focus on the last out. First base is open. Luke Johnson calls for the intentional walk on Kasich. So Jake Mahler up to the plate with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Mahler started the day with a pair of singles. He then got hit by a pitch. He's flown out his last 2 at-bats.
And I would be careful walking the previous batter to get this guy into the box. You're playing a little bit of a dangerous game with bases loaded here.
And Mahler lifts that to left center. Lee settling under it. Not enough on it for Mahler. That's out number 3. The Cougars threaten, but they can't push them through. Scoreless in the bottom of the 8th. That ends us to the top of the 9th. North Park, one last chance to blow up and tie up the Cougars.
We go to the 9th. Cougars 16, Vikings 10.
That was good tonight, though.
And we got a pinch hitter to kick off the top of the 9th. Dying chances for North Park. Vinny Marvucic at the plate now for North Park.
We begin the 9th inning with a pinch hitter.
Marvucic on the season batting .217 through 46 plate appearances.
Vinny Marvucic.
Marvucic at the plate. Jepson on deck. Perona in the hole. Marvucic watches that go high for ball 1. Marvucic watches that go for strike 1. 1-1 count now on Marvucic. Jack Linko back out on the mound for a 3rd inning of work for the Cougars. Linko, he has been dealing so far tonight. That ball goes low for ball 2. Breaking ball got away from him.
That's what you'd like to see. Still has command on the ball, still has his confidence on the mound.
And that hits him off the elbow guard of Mar Vucic.
That one just got away from just a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Hits the batting stand. So Mar Vucic at first.
Third baseman number 15, Riley Jepson.
Riley Jepson up to the plate now for North Park. And Colin Connor coming out for a quick chat with Jack Linko. Not too worried, still got a big lead. But you want to try and get through this inning pretty quickly still.
Probably telling them, hey, I want to get out this cold, ready to go home. It's been a couple hours.
It has been a couple hours. 3 hours and 13 minutes is the running game time for this game, which in modern baseball, that's a pretty hefty game. As Linko pumps that right down the middle for strike one.
I think he heard his coach pretty well.
It's attacking Jepson. That's exactly what he wants. I mean, Jepson, he's 1 for 3 as his first career hit today, but still, he's not a prolific hitter, and this is the kind of guy you really just want to attack aggressively. Beautiful curveball from Jack Linko, and he's already got Jepson in an 0-2 hole.
Little pep talk from the coach. Definitely seemed to work a little bit. See if he's able to finish this at bat.
Pitch on the way. Finish him off. 1, 2, 3. He gets Jepson looking, a fastball on the outside edge.
My, oh, my, Jack.
I mean, that pep talk definitely did it. That's the Jack Linko we saw in the 7th and 8th. Slices up Jepson. Now, Joe Perona, one of the top 4 hitters on this North Park squad, but he has struggled today, and he tries to lay down a bunt and fouls it back.
Yeah, I feel a lot more confident with the top of the order coming up here than the bottom of it, to be honest with you.
And it's such a weird thing because one of our main talking points coming into the night was that North Park, top of the order is strong, bottom of the order is not. It's been opposite. The bottom of the order has done the heavy lifting on offense for the Vikings. Linko deals high for ball 1.
That's probably a reason why they're down, and they have been down a lot in this game, is their top performers were expected to show up, and that just didn't happen today.
And you go back to it. I think it was back in the 7th, maybe. No, it was the 6th inning. Joe Perona fouled out on a soft pop-up like by the third baseline with the bases loaded. And it's opportunities like that, normally you would see these litters, they need a hit. That's the clutch opportunity they need. There's been multiple spots like that where they just haven't. It's a grounder, a soft pop-up, something like that. They haven't been there when North Park needs them to in the clutch today. Perona flies that to center. Hickman charging, calling everyone off, settling under it for out. Number 2, 0 for 5 on the day for Joe Perona.
And that's what it's looked like a majority of the day. I mean, a lot of their top hitters got good contact on the ball, just not able to send it over the fence, not able to send it in the right pockets of the defense to be able to get them on base. And it's kind of surprising with the wind, how it was earlier, at least in the game, and how offensively driven this environment has been for them not to show up.
First pitch to Kawakami is outside for a ball. I mean, you see that's the difference for the Cougars. 3 home runs for the Cougars, and those home runs are the difference maker right now. CUC had enough batters to be able to barrel it up, get it over the fence or to the fence, off the fence for an extra base hit. And Kawakami watches pitch 2 catch the outside edge for strike 1. So 1-1 count. Last chance. Kawakami, 1-1 count. Linko 2 strikes away from finishing this thing off. High and in, ball 2. Yeah, Linko just firing straight gas down the hole now.
I mean, you're hearing oohs and ahs from the fans and the bullpen and everything.
That's a grounder to short. Zagerman has it to second. Ball game. Slick slide from Xavier Zagerman to finish it for the Cougs. And it's a 16-10 victory in a final non-conference tune-up game for Concordia, Chicago. A marathon And the Cougars with offensive explosions in the second and third. Bring it all the way to a blow-up win over the Vikings. North Park gives it their best fight, but scoreless in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. The Cougars pitching, dialing it in at the end of the game.
For the Concordia Cougars, 16 runs, 16 hits.
16 runs for the Cougars. I mean, Adam, there's a name I'm thinking of for player of the game for the Cougars. I just want to see if we're on the same page here for who's your player of the game.
I give it to Tyler Dorsch. He's been he's had a heck of a day, I would say, and he definitely came to life like we've been saying it. Beginning part of the season, a little cold, but like Chicago weather, you start off cold, come back hot. But yeah, Tyler Dorsch would definitely be my player of the game today.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Dorsch will run through that stat line again. Picked up a pair of walks, which is already a solid day, and on top of that, 2 doubles, both of them deep off the wall, and then a home run straight away to center field, taking advantage of that wind. I mean, really, this is what you wanted. We talked about a lot during the broadcast. Last chance to tune up before the meat of the season, and this is what you want to see. Dorsch getting a feel on offense, getting that contact, that barrel ability back so you can barrel those up. You have one of your big power hitters who's starting to hit for power again.
And, I mean, him coupled with Jake Mailer, Michael Kasich, and also Jake's brother Brandon. I mean, all of those guys, him just adding to the effort only allows this Concordia squad to have the sky to be the limit for their offense.
Yeah, 4 RBIs on the day for Dorsch on 4 hits. And then Tyler Crater picked up a pair of hits, 2 RBIs with a home run for him. Both of the Mahler twins with a few RBIs their names. Brandon with 3, Jake with 2. And then Eli Hickman also with a pair of hits, a double. Cougars extra base hits on the day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra base hits. And then you go over to Yashawn Boswell, who also picked a home run to his name. And that's Boswell's first home run of the season. And you look at the pitching for the Cougars. Jackson Brigham starting on the mound for Concordia Chicago through 1 inning, gives up 1 earned run. Solid start for what would be a bullpen marathon today. The Cougars actually only gave up around somewhere depending on how you score those errors, 3 to 5 earned runs, which with 10 runs given up, not bad for the pitching staff. Bryce Jones, Alan Mateo, Caden Brock, Jack Linko, all of them having very solid days out on the mound. Jack Linko, really the name to look at for that pitching performance, though.
Jack Linko, and hey, I'll even give it to Blake Hickley. I mean, when he was out there, he was dealing as well. He did what he could, and as I mentioned, the Cougars had one game plan coming into the day. Have Jackson Brigham kind of take them 2 or 3 innings, only able to get 1 inning out of him, had to rely on that bullpen to kind of carry them, and they were able to do so today.
I mean, that bullpen really coming in big time in those last 4 innings. A 6-run inning, North Park, all momentum behind them, and then you just shut them down. 4 innings straight scoreless. Cougars defense, Cougars pitching, doing exactly what they needed to do. And that'll do it for the non-conference slate for Concordia Chicago. Here on out until late April for one last non-conference game against Chicago. It is all conference starting up this Wednesday. The Cougars head to Schaumburg to take on Dominican University. Division Street rivalry heads out west, further into the suburbs. So the Cougars will be back in action then. North Park, they start up their CCIW slate this Thursday against Illinois Wesleyan. But that'll do it today here at the Cougar Sports Network. Thank you for joining us. A huge thank you to everyone who made tonight's broadcast possible. I'm Jonathan Shearer here with Adam Gray, and that'll do it for the broadcast. Don't go away, though, because we have a post-game interview coming up with your victorious coaches in just a second.
And welcome to Cougar Sports Network here. I am with the victorious head coach, Colin Connor. Coach, take us through today's game. Bit of a tale of two games here in the beginning, a lot of offense being shown, and then kind of went into the bullpen. Talk us through how you saw the game today.
Yeah, I think, the first part of it was just to make a transition from what we went through on Saturday. You know, we were going back to beating Wheaton. We felt really good about going into conference play, you know, and then I think just this Saturday just didn't play the game we needed to. Had a really good talk just kind of as a team, and offensively we just talked about having team at-bats, you know, and then on the mound we've been giving ourselves a chance kind of all year. But if we could limit walks on the mound, limit strikeouts at the plate, and limit errors in the field, we knew we were going to have a chance. So really happy with our approach at the plate for the day. Overall, just needed to get back in the win column before we get back to head to play Dominican on Wednesday.
Awesome. And then I know the game plan going into this, looking to start off with Jackson Brigham, trying to see how much you can get out of him, and then we're kind of rely on the bullpen and stuff like that. So talk us through kind of your game plan going forward with the pitching staff and what you're looking from more of these guys that haven't gotten that much experience.
For sure. So anytime we play a midweek, kind of over the last 2 years, we tried to use a decent amount of arms. One, to get guys, you know, some innings like you said, but also if we can find a few more guys to use, then we don't have to overload, you know, maybe 6 to 8 guys. We can use, you know, 10 to 12 to 14, which I think the main part of that is you can keep guys healthy, you know, a little bit longer. So unfortunately, Jackson had a little thing with his shoulder today, but today was the best that he'd looked, you know, since last fall. So it was awesome to see him kind of get his groove back, I guess would be the best way to put it. But just try to get some guys in there so once again we can find some extra guys to add into the mix. And, you know, with us having conference play 2 games on Wednesday and then 2 more on Saturday, we just got to be smart with how we use guys. So that's kind of how we went about it today.
Tyler Dorsch, our unofficial player of the game. Absolutely. Up to this point. He had a little bit of a slow start to the season, but obviously caught heat here today. What do you got to say to him? What have you told him over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, so obviously Dorsch's year hasn't been what he's wanted to up to this point. We've asked him to kind of shoulder a lot and handle a lot. So I think today was just you got to see who Tyler Dorsch really is. You know, not that you expect the guy to have 6 productive at-bats every time he goes up, but we were so used to seeing that it has been a little bit of an interesting situation for him. But today was awesome. We have a thing that anytime his parents are in town from Phoenix, he usually hits a home run. It's been 4 years in a row now, you know, so
sweet.
Really, really happy for him. I think the big part is just having a weight lifted for him and allowing him to have the fun and the freedom of playing the game, you know, with him being an all-region player last year, 2-time all-conference player. I think that with that, guys put some pressure on themselves. So it was cool today to just see him loosen up and play well, and obviously be really good for us. Awesome.
Well, I appreciate your time and everything like that. Thank you, Cougar Sports Nation, for tuning in. They will be back in action here soon. This is the Cougar Sports Nation. We'll see you soon.
So much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.